Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it goes. Busy day today, man. Sounds like you had a pretty busy one the last couple of days too. But yeah, I was running all over the place today. Dentist appointments, movies, uh, small appliance repair, you name it. I was doing all sorts of stuff today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so sometimes you have it's summer and there's days that a lot of stuff is happening.
There's just stuff that's got to get done. Yeah. Hey, before we go too far, oh no, where'd it go? I had the tab selected. Here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to share the screen.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We had right at the end of the show on Tuesday, Jason Webster gave us an Australian $2 Milli Vanilli Alcock. Oh my, yeah. We'll have plenty to say about Millie and her appearance in the film Supergirl. Yes, Price and I both had a chance to see it.
Yep.
I can't say I'm glad that I saw it, but I saw it, and Bryce also saw it. We've got some mighty generous gifts already over here in the chat, and since I'm just sharing stuff, we'll just share it real quick, Price, and
okay, hold on.
can
You share it? Where is it?
Here we go. All right, so we have let's see if we Mary White has gifted 10 Price of Reason live gift memberships. Thank you very much, Mary. You're a big supporter of the channel. We greatly appreciate it. And then, of course, Mary White has also given us a $5 super chat over on YouTube. This Price of Reason. Hope you get some rest tonight. And a lovely little.
Well, I kind of feel bad, Mary. Yeah. You do so much for us, so I do really appreciate it. It's very, very kind of you, but I also appreciate that the work that you do here, and thank you so much. It's very, very nice of you.
Yeah, it's very kind.
As for me staying awake, I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually don't drink coffee. I never have, like, my whole life. It's not that, like, I've tried it a few times, but generally I never wanted to be that person that gets in the morning and has to drink coffee and do all this stuff. So I decided at some point, like early on, that I don't want to drink coffee. But now for this stream, I have like one of those weird, how you have like a bottle of Starbucks that's cold and there's like coffee.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's legitimate coffee.
Frappuccino. Yes.
It's like, it's one of those things. That's what it says. It says Frappuccino. It says mocha. So
that's my favorite. Yeah, there's some caffeine in there. Yeah, you got there's a little bit of coffee. It's all right. I get one of those occasionally if on a road trip and want to grab something in the at the gas station. I might grab a Frappuccino.
I'm hopeful that this has at least some caffeine in it.
It does.
And this will help me do something.
Yeah.
I'm very, very hopeful. I've done it a few times, like on rare occasions. Throughout the years, if there's a stream that I think, that I have to do, and I feel a little bit, a little tired, then I'll drink that Starbucks thing, but it's a very rare occasion. But today I'm doing it. So let's see what happens. I'll probably start like snoozing in 2 seconds.
And let's see, we got a bunch of our friends already joining us here in the chat over on Rumble. We've got Kivo 1961 and Gaming Stuff hanging out with us. We got a bunch of people already joining us. Jonathan Conroy, Eddie Rodriguez, Gavin Unit, Mary White, Istaphobos, Jason Love, Doctor Who, Dutch Gradient. We've got a bunch of other friends here: Tomahawk, Fishbulb, Caleb Levine, Kodo Rob, who's here, says all hail to Price, knocked it out of the park today on Critical Drinker. I didn't know you were on Drinker's show today, Price.
Well, there were so many things going on, and it was very, very kind. I was invited, and it was I'm always very honored, and really,
that's
very
awesome.
nice.
I'm glad you got a return to The open bar. That's fantastic. Yeah. I was far too busy with one thing or another today to catch Critical Drinker. So
It's okay. It
yeah,
was one of those days, but, yeah,
yeah.
I was very, very thrilled. We talked about the Supergirl movie, and, I always am very kind of honored to be on a show like that. Critical Drinker, it's funny that you say that. I looked, you know how after the stream
Yeah.
you know how after the stream, usually it kind of becomes unlisted. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then
and
he
then
cuts it into pieces later on.
right,
Yeah.
he cuts into pieces. And then I looked and, somebody wrote I was so surprised by this because somebody wrote, like, "You're such a brown nose, Price," or something like that. Like, nobody wrote any comment. Like, that was the only comment I saw, and it's like, I was trying to think, like, I wish he gave more context as to the brown nosing. Like, me going on Critical Drinker's channel and thanking him for inviting me and being, like, really happy that I was invited, I don't think that that, like, qualifies as brown nosing, you know what I mean? Like
No, saying please and thank you, agreeing with people sometimes if they,
like, what would have
say
been the other
something.
option? What like, this person that made that comment, what was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to go on the show, like, I'm supposed to go in, like, to what qualifies as not that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just such a weird comment. Fortunately, that I didn't have anything else, like, there was no other comments. Sometimes I think people just enjoy writing stuff that's just, like, mean-spirited. Uh I'll tell you what, we used to, we not used to, we may start up again. I'm hoping we start up again, but we do these streams with Robot Head, and there would be this one, usually this one guy that just comes by at a Robot Head stream, and usually to just write a shitty comment about me. Like, there's no reason for it, but it's just like some people have that itch. They're like, I gotta write a shitty comment about Price. And usually they try to think like, what can I say that's like really annoying that like it's like a troll and it'll be annoying that I write this. Almost like they're making an effort, you know what I mean?
Making
So
an effort to be a-holes. Yeah, yeah, this is a well-known thing about some people. They absolutely must somehow project their assholiness into the internet or into basically any situation that they're.
yeah, no, I mean, I tried to think about it and I'm like thinking, what does this person want? And like I was trying to think throughout the stream if I said or did anything. I thought I was just giving my opinions on the movie. I mean, sure, at the end I thanked him for inviting me, but I think that that's like, I do that, uh I do that regardless, even if it's not the Critical Drinker. When somebody invites me to a stream, I'm always, thankful. If it's Mr. Brown, I'll say thank you to him. A lot of times, even after the stream, we DM each other and things like that. That's there's like courtesy and friendship and things like that. I don't know what I should have said differently, but you know what, I feel comfortable with whatever I said, and the truth is, it wasn't like I was pretending that I was like, honored that I was invited. I really was, and I was happy, and then that's it. I don't know, like I'm not going to pretend that I'm not,
Were you trying to impress him with your stories about one celebrity or another?
Didn't say a word about that. I didn't say any of that. I actually I wouldn't have bothered him about it, last time, but Melvin wrote a comment, and he's like, "Tell Drinker your story about, like, tell Drinker your story about, Jane Seymour," or whatever, like, he wrote, and then I had to, like, say it, and I felt bad that Drinker had to listen to this weird story about me running after Jane Seymour, and I feel like Drinker himself didn't know why I was telling this story, but that's what, like, Melvin did a super chat that he was asking for it, so we all had to go through those motions, whereas this time nobody said anything, so I didn't even have to subject the Drinker to me telling weird
He was
stories.
asking for it. Yeah. Oh wait.
uh
No, that's funny. Yeah. No, that's great.
Speaking
Gosh,
of,
let's see.
Angry Sparrow says maybe it was a bot. No, I like I said, I don't know, even there was another thing. I guess maybe most people don't notice this kind of stuff, but I do. While we were on the stream with, on the open bar, somebody wrote to me, like, you know how people are tagging you, but the chat goes so quickly in Shrinker's stream because there's so many people watching it. I'm surprised I even caught it, but somebody wrote a comment. Price of Reason is the guy that banned me from his YouTube channel, and it was some name of a person that I've never heard of in my life. I don't know who he is. If I could bring out the Thanos meme, like, I don't even know who you are,
I
I
don't
would have
even
done
know
it.
who
But
you
like,
are.
of course, I'm not going to do that in midstream. But I'm like, who is this guy? Like, why did he show up to say that? I don't know who he is. I've never banned him. I have no idea who this person is. And like,
Yep.
there's just people that do that. Another time, somebody was saying something about bot. This happened to us the other day. Maybe I can find this and show it to you. We got a comment it's a bot. You know what I mean? Like a
Hmm.
bot wrote a comment that like, have you seen this? Let me try to show you. We were talking about Angry Joe and what's his face and Nerdrotic and what happened with with Supergirl and his meltdowns or whatever it was. So let me try to find this. We did. How do I find the comments? Okay, comments. This is it. Are you ready?
Hmm.
This is such a weird thing. I'll try. I'll try to screenshot it. Sorry, I'm being so weird with these weird bots and trolls, but I shouldn't pay attention to any of this. I honestly, I shouldn't give it any, you know. But sometimes it's like an itch that I have to scratch, and I actually never answer them either. But let's see if I can share this. Do you see it?
Yeah.
So this is somebody wrote, a comment. And it looks like AI wrote it. If you look at it, it doesn't look like a regular person writes this as a comment. Not only that, the final thing that happens at the end is that like it's as if it ends mid-sentence. So the narrative that Angry Joe blamed Nerdrotic and Disparu for quote unquote Supergirl flop or that Millie Alcock is the new Rachel Zegler is entirely a fabricated clickbait rumor. First of all, that's not true. It did happen. The movie Supergirl, and with the fact that there's the two dots, Woman of Tomorrow, that's very AI-ish. You know what I mean? Because it's not Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. You know what I mean? It was
Hmm.
called that at the beginning, but it's not that anymore. Has not even been released yet, making it impossible to quote unquote flop. There is zero industry or fan consensus equating her to Rachel Zegler. Alcock remains highly popular for her breakout role in The House of the Dragon. Commentators like Angry Joe, Nerdrotic, and Disparu have not had a high profile feud over this topic. Again, not true. The premise is engineered solely to drive engagement. This specific narrative is a textbook example of modern entertainment commentary clickbait. Content creators or forum threads often generate these fabrications by leveraging predictable tactics. And then there's like is it a sense colon? You know what I mean? It's as
Yeah.
if they want to write more stuff, but then it ends. Like the thing ends. There's nothing more that says after that. And yeah, very suspicious comment. Like, and just the final thing I want to show you, the who the person is that's saying this. Are you? And this is the final thing, and then we
Hmm.
can jump in. The person that's saying all of this to us, because it's to both of us. You're involved as well here, Professor. So yeah,
Yeah, that particular text that was absolutely AI written. You might have noticed there were a couple of semicolons in there. Semicolons
yeah.
are one thing that very commonly you will see as evidence of something having been written by AI because they're very rarely used by anyone who's not a professional writer. Uh, and then you also have other tells like some of the generic transitions. It's important to note and stuff like that, like those things. And it's kind of all of these, perfectly written, perfectly uh, it's far too consistent for your typical YouTube commentator to be putting that in there. So yeah.
So when I look at it, it says Rama 50, but when you actually look at the name, it says John Smith with one subscriber. I mean, this really looks very bottish.
It does.
Like, I couldn't look like more of a bot than this guy. So I guess sometimes I can't take things seriously. I have to take into consideration that I guess anywhere you do anything and talk to anybody, there will be either a bot or a strange troll or whatever. And some people just have whatever, whatever issues. I don't know what issues they have or what they do. The part that I don't like is that when people just make something up, when somebody's like, "Oh, and he went and he banned me," like I really didn't know who that person was. So,
Mhm.
and like I said, like, "Thank you for inviting me." Oh, he
For
brown nosed
for
him.
him, it was one of the most important and impactful days of his life. For you, it was a Tuesday.
I guess so. Yeah, it's fine. Maybe it's a good sign if people feel the need to go and write these weird troll things. Maybe I'm doing something right. So John Smith, the bot, don't know what you wanted. Everything we said was true. We didn't exaggerate, or we gave a very fair perspective on it. And yeah, so Gavin you writes, they hate price because they ain't price. Really, it's not even such a privilege. Like they could be themselves, and that's probably even better. There's nothing special about anything that we do, and we're just hanging out and are doing our thing. And I don't know, it's fine. It's cool. I think that
It's all
actually
fine.
the worst one out of all of them was the one that like used to show up to the Robot Head stream. Like
Mhm.
it's as if I feel like he sat there at home for hours thinking, "What can you write that'll be the shittiest comment about me?" Just doesn't have any like no matter what he has to write a shitty comment. I can't explain it to you, but I don't want to highlight it. I'm not even going to show it, but it was just annoying. Anyhow, yeah, so we saw Supergirl. We saw Supergirl in anyhow, we
Anyway,
saw
we saw
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Let's see what is it now on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that I care about Rotten Tomatoes, but the thing is that the reason why Rotten Tomatoes is interesting this time is because the critics, which usually are kind of like glazing gun and doing all the shill, it's a rotten on Rotten Tomatoes with 58%. Honestly, this should be a much more rotten score, but these critics like are still they're struggling because on one hand they know this is a stinker, and on the other hand, they don't want to completely like give it like a 10 or a 20, which is probably more along the lines of what it deserved. It's really a bad movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. We do have a before we move into that, we do have a Rumble rant.
Okay.
You can scroll back up just a little bit, should be able to find it. There you go.
Born to be down. That commenter is a douche. Everybody knows Price has an orange nose. That is true.
Yes.
That is correct.
For a $5 Rumble rant. Thank you, Born to be Down. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the critical reception for this movie has been pretty bad. Pretty awful. I mean, as you say in the title, it's a movie so bad that even people like Grace Randolph have do not have positive things to say.
No, and it looks like it's tearing them apart from the inside. That's also what started part of like Angry Joe's like meltdown, that he already knew he's going to have to say he doesn't like it, and he's afraid that he'll somehow be lumped in with people like Nerdrotic and Disparu and Critical Drinker. So he goes out of his way to already like put some space between him and them and say like, listen, all these guys that are saying all this stuff, they're saying it because they're like just a bunch of chuds or whatever he's trying to say. I'm saying it because I'm really being critical here, but me and them are not the same. That's why I think he started this whole thing. The problem is it's only backfiring and making him look like, in my opinion, an idiot because at the end of the day, in spite of what they always like to label us, oh, we're the chuds. If it's not there isn't hot women and it's not like whatever, they don't like it. They don't like this and they don't like that. The truth is, and I've told you this, I just said this to you like last time when we talked or like recently, there's certain genres that I think that men are the more major target audience for. And I think, let's say, making a Supergirl with an actress, if it's not Sydney Sweeney, but somebody with some real likability like that, and making her look in a way that's a little more appealing that men could actually be interested in, you'd already get a few more tickets. And if this actress doesn't go around bashing men, on the red carpet or whatever, that would also be good. You do a few things like that, and you do a movie that's a little more hopeful and optimistic for a superhero like Supergirl, rather than this. And we'll get to it in a second. Whatever this depressing drag of a disaster was, maybe you'll see some men come to the theater. So I don't know. I mean, this guy at the end, in my opinion, doesn't operate like an average man, or he's just being disingenuous, or both. But that's my opinion on it.
Well, there's plenty of shills out there that I'm sure are going to be giving all sorts of amazing reviews to this movie, even though everyone knows that this is an absolute pile of crap. It is a terrible film. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how do we want to get started with it, Price?
I guess we'll do what we always do. We'll just start going over,
just kind of working our way through it.
Yeah, we'll go through it. I want to make it clear. We are going to talk about everything that happens in this movie. I feel good about it. This is a movie that could easily be spoiled. It's not going to matter. We're helping you out here. If like your dream was to see like a really bad Supergirl movie, then I'm sorry. Then I guess like, you don't have to listen to us talking about it. But this is really one of those cases that there's nothing. I don't even see anything really redeeming about this movie. Sometimes, we could argue that like the 3 minutes that Lobo appears on screen aren't terrible, but that's not going to change anybody. It's not the reason to go to the theater to watch this movie. It's not strong enough, and we'll get to that in a second. Basically, there's no redeeming quality about this movie.
There's nothing here to like, as has been said by others. You can't spoil shit, and this is a terrible film. It really, really is. I mean, if you've seen some of the reviews, I was, after having seen it myself and written some notes and stuff like that, I went out and was watching some of the other reviews, from Drinker and Paul Chatto and Disparu and some other, and really they had a lot of the exact same thoughts that I had about the just lack of consistency in this, the overall just total lack of any effort in the storytelling whatsoever. It was a slop fest of a film, and there's just no real redeeming qualities. Let's see. I don't think Istophobos saw this. I think he's decided he's not doing hate watches anymore.
I'm asking Mark D because he's talking about it. Yeah,
but
no,
I don't think Mark was here.
I don't think that it's the Phobos side, but if Mark saw it, I wouldn't mind if he wanted to also weigh in with his thoughts. But
yes, he says he just got back.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Let me.
Yeah, Mark, if you want to hop in on the conversation, feel free since you've seen it.
Exactly.
And Price will get you send you something.
I'm doing that right now.
Or you can just go back and start lurking again if you don't want to come talk with us. That's fine too.
Just send it.
Yeah, that's fine. Gavin Unit. Is this can't spell shit? Professor R2 2026. Oh, I did not coin that phrase. That's been around for a while. It's just this is such a mess of a movie.
First of all,
just some general impressions, maybe, while we see if Mark wants to hop in.
First of all, no, I was just going to dive in. I mean, the movie starts off. We saw these trailers, and the trailers weren't well received. It was obvious this thing was going to flop. You'd think that with trailers that are not hitting with people, especially that Crypto peeing on Superman's face and all this stuff in the picture, and her being drunk, I thought to myself, maybe they'll see the reaction to the trailer and they'll do a little bit of course correction for the movie. But the truth is, the movie starts exactly like the trailer. Yep. It's like as if whatever the trailer was, that's the beginning of the movie.
You walk right in, and what does it start with? It starts with them on the spaceship, listening to music on her like record player or whatever, and the dog taking a whiz on the newspaper, and oh, you got some of it on the paper this time. Like, so like the very first trailer, that is what was in the start of that trailer. That's what we got for the start of this movie. Oh, hey there, Mark.
Hey, thank you for having me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just saw a depressing movie. God. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are 100% right. It's like, why do you piss on Superman to start the movie? I mean,
Well,
just
and that was that was something that was, they knew from the reactions to the trailers that people hated that. And we also know that they have chopped this movie to pieces in recent months from all the rumors that have come out that that they have been cutting here and there and adding stuff and removing stuff. Why did they leave that in if they knew that the audience hated it? It does.
you could have cut that very easily, or change the newspaper with CGI just to like make it Lex Luthor or something, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
Luthor's rotting in prison, you know.
it's unbelievable. Just yeah. So yeah, we just jump right into Supergirl. She's listening to obnoxious music, and the dog is pissing on Superman's face and all that stuff. And she is a totally just a complete drunk loser. And we get very quickly we get a birthday message that comes in from her cousin saying, "Hey, happy birthday week, whatever." So
Yeah, reshoot.
clearly.
Looks like a reshoot, by the way.
It looks like something kind of inserted. We did see that in one trailer. We saw something of like that in one trailer, but that's so easy, right? To shoot like after the fact and just insert it because it's on a screen. So,
Here's what I think. And I talked about it earlier today. The comic, this Tom King comic, which would surprise you that I actually, to do some research, I actually read it. I'm sorry that I did read it because there was nothing good about it, but I read this silly comic, and when that came out, when I was reading about it, the idea of that Tom King comic, I guess, was that they wanted to show that Supergirl could do something without Superman, that she's like on her own, that her character can stand on her own 2 feet and have her own story and around whatever it is that's supposed to happen in that dumb comic, and when they made this movie, I think part of the reason of James Gunn choosing the Tom King thing was he really wanted this to be the movie where Supergirl is on her own 2 feet. She doesn't rely on Superman. She doesn't rely on Lobo. Neither of them appear in the comic. But what obviously to me happened is they filmed this movie. It wasn't good, and studio executives started getting stressed out about it. Now, it could be that they always intended to give Lobo a cameo. I think that Jason Momoa was supposed to have a little cameo in the movie, but then what, like, to tease his character. But what happened is Mike DeLuca and other people that are essentially above James Gunn said, "Hey, can you give us more of Lobo?" Probably thinking to themselves that's the only moment that they saw something on screen that didn't look like a miserable disaster. So they probably said, "Could we have a little more of him?" So if you look at this movie, anytime Lobo appears on screen, if you edit him out of the scene would still be the same. It looks like you could see the reshoots where they just needed to shove him in. And it's the same thing with David Corenswet's Superman. The ending, the final shot of the movie, in my opinion, reshoot. I think that the movie ended with them going into her ship to do the birthday with the little girl.
Absolutely. Yep. That was the end of the original end of the movie. No question.
And the people at the studio said, "This is a miserable ending. Can you give us something hopeful? Can you put, like, Superman in it? Can you do something?" But if you just brought him to the end, they'd say, "Well, it wouldn't make sense. How are we going to do that?" So they said, "Okay, at the beginning, let's sprinkle Superman into this movie so there's always a bit of a presence. At the beginning, put him in what's his face on the screen talking to her. At the end, she meets with him in person. And in the middle, there's also flashbacks of how she got to Earth and all this stuff." I believe all of that, which are weird flashbacks that strangely appear
disjointed.
Disjointed. All of that is reshoots. And interestingly, the one thing, it's just like with all of the peeing and the dog and everything, James Gunn doubled down on the evil Jor-El storyline where her parents said that they send Clark to conquer Earth, if you remember.
Yeah, that was like one quick line in the movie. I was trying to catch it. It flew by, but yeah, they said, "Oh, they sent Clark to be Kal-El to be a god, basically, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they say
Conqueror.
that. I actually wrote. In my notes put down a quote about that. So I will get to that a little bit later as when we moving through. But yeah, I wrote down a quote. But yeah, essentially they doubled down, which is what we had heard in some of the early reviews, some of the early social media reactions, that they were doubling down on this whole idea that Kal-El, that Superman, was sent to Earth to conquer it. It's like, why?
Ridiculous.
Again, they know that this is something that people hated about the last film. They know this. Why would they do that? It's so dumb. But yeah, anyway.
Plus, if you know the Earth is out there, why don't you send someone years ago to conquer it then, right? If this whole red sun, and we'll get into it more detail, but all this red sun, green sun, yellow sun stuff, it's like, what's going on here? And there's 2 Kryptonians in the whole universe. How do they know what affects a Kryptonian?
Yeah, and also just the fact that, I mean, they had to turn Superman's dad into Space Mustache Man.
Yeah,
right. He's the Kryptonian Mustache Man now, who wants to send his son off to conquer planets. Like, it's so absurd. Yeah, the whole thing with Kryptonians and what affects and them having kryptonite and stuff. Yeah, we can get to that because that drove me. Nuts. Just irritated me to no end. Tell. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning. Let's do what we like to do.
So we get the dog pissing. She's a drunk loser. She gets the message from her cousin about, here's your birthday week or whatever. It's like, definitely a millennial or a Gen Zer because you have a birthday week. You don't just celebrate for one day. It's something you've got to do like 5 or 6 days in a row celebrating your birthday. That is not a Gen X thing, I'll tell you that.
And that's a weird thing. We're
gonna have a whole week to celebrate your birthday. Yeah, but yeah, no, and then we just jump straight in to the partying. We've seen this. We saw this in the trailers. Her getting wasted, getting drunk, and talking about how her only friend is crypto, whatever. So she's at the bar, just getting wasted.
Isn't there first before the bar the scene with the little girl and the family?
Well, she goes off basically to a rave, what we see, and then she goes on to a bar after that. But yes, she has gets a hangover. So how does she cure her hangover?
Yellow sun time.
She flies to a system with a yellow sun and
limps out.
And she floats around in space and plays space fetch with crypto.
Yes.
So yes, then we get the scene. It cuts over to the scene where we get to meet the bad guy, and we get to meet the little girl. Which for the life of me, I cannot remember her name.
Ruthie.
Ruthie.
I didn't remember, but somebody told me today, so it's Ruthie.
Yeah. I remember Krim because it's just a stupid name, but. Yeah, we get to meet the bad guy, and we get to meet Girly and her parents. Apparently, he's the greatest swordsmith in the universe, even though it's a universe that has blasters and guns and stuff. Swords are apparently awesome.
I want to say something that, like, I can just give some of my stupid knowledge, and maybe Mark knows what I'm talking about. Because I read this stupid comic, not that I think that the comic is good, but, like, interestingly, the movie doesn't even honor the stupid comic that it wants to do the movie of. And I dare say that as bad as the comic is, the Tom King one, whatever the movie is doing is probably even worse. In the comic, she's older. She's not a little girl. She's a bit older. And at the same time, not her entire family are deleted. It's that only her father is. And I think that it's not even something about the swords. It's that there's something along the lines of that some guy went and, like, they gave him shelter, but then he got into an argument with the father and got rid of him and something like that. So it's a whole different thing, and completely changed it here. Not that I really like the original, but I don't necessarily think that whatever they changed it to was any better, maybe even worse somehow.
Yeah, it's just a horrible, dark book to adapt. I mean, especially, as I was saying to my friend as we were leaving, and he really didn't like it too. like, this, we were saying, we'd like to have a cuter Supergirl or someone. I think Miley, she's kind of cute in her own way, but in a quirky way, not as Supergirl. But this should have been a movie that you'd want to get little girls to go with their families, dads, moms, to take them. This is so dark and depressing. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
You can't hear anything. And the way this starts with this horrible execution of this family, it's like, this is not for, 10, 12-year-old girls to go see. I mean, totally the wrong, relief picture to kind of save the DC universe. If you're going to pick something, it's just, what are you thinking, James Gunn? This is, it's a no-brainer to do, a light.
It should have been
story.
something, exactly, light and entertaining and comedic, and it, But yeah, no, we gotta have her being, wasted out of her mind because of her trauma. God, I think they mentioned trauma 4 times in this movie. It's like, just stop. Just stop. So the Krim shows up. Terrible bad guy, by the way. Awful.
Horrible.
Awful.
Terrible,
People complained nonstop about how sort of unimpressive Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy was as a villain. But yet the movie still worked, even though the villain was kind of on the weak side. This guy is why does anyone care about him at all? We don't get any kind of description at any point about why he's powerful or why these people follow him, why he can take a punch from a fully powered up Kryptonian and his head not explode. Like, we don't get any of this stuff, right?
His powers are all over the place, right? At one point he catches a tank. I mean, I guess maybe you could go after him with a magnet with all those piercings he had, he's just a moronic villain. There's no backstory to him. He's just a cardboard cutout bad guy that you don't care about.
He's a pirate. Yar.
Yeah.
I guess he's just a bad guy.
Total snooze that character.
But he ends up killing off the family. But I think doesn't the brother try to jump out and scare his sister? He's trying to be silly.
Right. It's
jump
like
out and scare his sister, and it startles Krim, so he stands up and puts an axe in his back.
It's always that stupid thing that James Gunn has to do some dumb thing, like some goofy thing. Oh, he came to play with his sister, so he killed him. I don't know. It's just kind of that whole scene. It was depressing, and I don't know. And I was saying that they tried to make that girl kind of like Bella Ramsey or something.
Yep.
I feel like they went after the Bella Ramsey model with that little girl. I will say that I think that the actress that plays the little girl in this movie is less annoying than Bella Ramsey, but nevertheless, the whole little girl thing, I didn't love it to begin with.
Less irritating, but no more talented. I didn't think she was particularly good in this. So, Krim slaughters their whole family, but then just leaves her there for no reason, just ignores her. Even though we find out, not one scene later, that Krim's brigands, one of the things that they do is kidnap girls. So why did they just leave her there? Right? He could have killed her, or he could have captured her and added her to the collection of brides.
That is so funny. I don't know. You're brilliant, Professor. I don't know how this escaped me, but yes, she would have been exactly the type of prisoner he takes.
Yes. We do find out, in a description later on that he kidnaps his group kidnaps women so they can perpetuate their all male race.
Yeah. So how does that work?
Yeah, it doesn't. You can't have an all male race if it requires
a female.
If it requires sexual reproduction.
It's something I don't know about. Someone want to tell me.
Problem. You know what the problem is? I feel like they watched a bunch of different movies that they wanted to steal from. They wanted the idea of what Mad Max and Furiosa or Fury Road or whatever it was. They wanted that, but they also wanted Guardians of the Galaxy. So essentially, they wanted Guardians of the Furiosa. That's what they wanted the movie to be. And that's why they tried to combine the thing with the brides and with the Guardians, that she's kind of like Star-Lord. But between you and me, none of this is working. The fact that something worked in one place and another thing worked in another place, it doesn't mean you can just combine all of these things and they're just magically work together.
Yeah,
They are endlessly stealing from other much better films and other not so good films. But that's
And James Gunn is even stealing from himself, and he doesn't even steal from himself well.
I mean, were these dudes all gay dudes, and they just find the women to propagate their species?
The women are only there to
yeah. I mean, so I guess they're assuming that they were all. I'm assuming they were all gay, right? I mean, I mean, it must be a boring existence as a pirate if you're not getting anything of any kind, right? I mean,
yeah, they had to kidnap. They had to kidnap a lot of beards. That's what happened. So yeah, they kill off the parents. They leave her alive, and she swears vengeance. And so, with the next scene that we get, of course, is again, we saw this in the trailers. She's drinking herself under the table, and Ruthie comes into the bar, like trying to find a mercenary that she'll hire, and I'll give you this amazing sword if you'll go and kill this Krim guy for me. And of course, what do? A big burly guy walks up, just takes the sword from her, tells her to shut the hell up and go away. And this gets under Kara's skin. And so she has to go and start fighting him, even though it has already been established she is on a planet with a red sun. She doesn't want to get in a fight because she doesn't have her powers.
Yep.
But yet she still goes up against this guy who's nearly twice her size.
Right, and she kicks his ass, and I don't understand how. She said she doesn't have her powers.
Oh, she defeats him because Crypto runs out and bites him in the nuts.
Right, of course.
Giving her a chance to clonk him over the head.
And they didn't even try to explain it like in, say, in the movie, well, Kryptonians, even though they, we don't have our superpowers here, they grew up on, say, like a planet with 5 times the gravity or something, so she's naturally stronger. They didn't explain it. Kara didn't grow up as a warrior too in Argo, right? I mean, she's just on
no, not at all.
It wasn't like she was a warrior or trained or and all of a sudden she's kicking ass. I did like the alien though, because I like this chutzpah. Just go over and take the damn sword from this annoying little twerp.
Because that's exactly what would happen.
The best part of the movie
actually works. Yeah, that actually works.
Was the only well written part.
The only plausible part. Yeah.
Yeah, the big, some big badass. He's just gonna be like, "Shut up, little girl. Give me the sword." And just gonna walk off. But again, why is a sword important in a world of spaceships and blasters and all sorts? It doesn't make any sense other than being something ceremonial.
I just want to say, Lucy Meow says the child bride plot is agenda driven for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
This is very much like a feminism movie, but this is what makes the irony here great, because they really wanted this to be a solo Supergirl movie, standing on her own 2 feet, without Corn Sweat involved, probably initially Lobo, at most a cameo, if at all, and go all in on Tom King's thing, make it even more feminist, add the child thing, all the stuff, put it together, and studio executives saw it and freaked out, thinking that this is just a disaster because it's a terrible movie. And that's when they started playing around with it and trying to salvage it. But how do they salvage this feminist thing that failed? They're bringing Jason Momoa as Lobo, bringing David Cornsweat as Superman. So they basically tried to flank her with some dudes like that you see on the screen, hoping that it'll save their movie and maybe even get a few dudes to go see it. So do you understand how this backfired for them? They thought they were so clever and they backfired.
They had to bring in dudes to make the movie better.
and honestly, the only parts that are almost, and I won't say redeeming because there's nothing redeeming on this movie, but the only parts that are a little less annoying to watch is actually Lobo on screen and Corn Sweat on screen as Superman are those few moments that it's a little less annoying to watch. I don't hate Momoa or Corn Sweat. I think Corn Sweat seems like a decent guy, and I still think that Henry Cavill was better casting as Superman, but I don't hate Corn Sweat. I think that he based on his audition, he seemed to have the right understanding of what Superman is, and I think he really genuinely wanted to bring something good to the character. They won't let him do it, but I don't hate him. I don't feel like a negative energy towards him. I just think he's given the worst writing ever, and the worst Superman, the way they write him, the worst ever. And when it comes to Jason Momoa, he could be okay as Lobo, but they just don't know what to do with him in this movie because most of his is reshoots that they just shoehorned in.
Yeah.
It's too disjointed. That's a great point too, because I was mentioning my friend like at Corn Sweat, he brightens up the screen when he's on. He really is. I'm enamored by his performance. I think
Yeah.
he's got the right attitude, and I know what what they're going for with the contrast. The angry, rebellious, younger sister. But it's just too dark and depressing, and no one cares anything about any of these characters. I mean, I did like a couple of one of the Kryptonian flashbacks, or one of the scenes with Kara. I think was as a flashback when we get to it. I thought was pretty decent.
Yeah.
There's a couple of moments where things shine through, but it's just a movie trying to throw a million things up against the wall, and it's just a big mistake. Why grabbing Tom King's novel? What are you just idiotic?
Yeah. So, yeah, as you mentioned Corn Sweat as Superman. Well, that the next scene we get after this, after she's gotten the sword back for our for Ruthie, she leaves and goes back to her ship. She says you got to sleep it off. So she goes back to her ship. And then the next morning, she wakes up and she gets a message. She's got a call. She actually gets a call from Clark. It's another one that we saw in the trailer where he talks to her about, you're bouncing around so much. You're not, if you don't spend more time here on Earth, you're not gonna, like settle in. You're not gonna, make this your home, whatever. And again, like you said, like it's actually kind of a genuine scene. Like it's well acted that you could, but even if it's added in there, that he's like, I care about you, and I want you to care about Earth, right? I want you to find something to sort of center yourself, because clearly you're all over the place. And then we get to see Supergirl taking a piss. We get to see her this time sitting on the toilet.
My God.
So we get Crypto pissing. We get her piss. It's just, and then there's a piss filter over the whole film.
Yeah, why doesn't she close the door? Could you close the door?
Well, because there's nobody else in the house.
The girl was looking in though, and
yeah.
You go to all these new hotels, they have these damn barn doors in the hotel rooms, and none of them close all the way.
Yes.
It's like we've been married for 30 years, but we don't need to hear and see everything. It's like, could you give me? Sorry for the aside here, but it's like, could you give me an old fashioned hotel door?
Can I actually have a door that closes and locks, please?
Are you talking about the thing that she was pissing and we saw it?
Yeah. Well, she doesn't actually. You don't actually see it, but you see her sitting on the toilet while she's talking to. Yeah. Right. So. The girl shows back up. Not for the last time in the film. She tracks Kara down and asks her for her help, whatever. And while she's doing that, she goes and she's sitting on the toilet taking a whiz.
Right. I mean, the thing is that even just as the director or whoever's making this movie, the choice of showing her with the door open in the bathroom like that, it's just, it adds to this kind of thing of Supergirl that we don't need to see. Like, I think that Supergirl should be a little more heroic and noble, even, if she's going through something. This kind of, she's so messy, and look what a loser bum she is, and how she sits on the toilet. Who needs all of that? It's not a turn on. You know what I mean? Like, this needed to be an actress that looks really nice, which I think that she's quirky cute, but she's not the right thing for this role. And you needed an actress that gives like this kind of likable portrayal, that has this kind of natural likability, feminine natural likability. None of those things. As much as you could say whatever you want about the 1984 Helen Slater movie, maybe every aspect of that movie doesn't work, but Helen Slater as Supergirl does work. She's not the problem with the movie. Even though it's not my favorite, like the CBS that then turned CW show, Melissa Benoist, especially in that first season. Later that show fell off a cliff, but in that first season when it was still on CBS, I think she was rather likable, and at least sort of a little more wholesome tone and a little more feminine. They had the right idea with her. The show ended up being a CW Drek shitty thing, but initially at least they were in the right direction. And this movie, not in the right direction. It's just crappy.
Yeah, the Supergirl TV show, I watched the whole thing, and it became so the agenda, and that was, I mean, they had Linda Carter, aka Wonder Woman, was the president of the United States, and it turned out she actually was an illegal alien from another planet who got removed. But they had this whole subplot of shouldn't be any borders, and it's like, it's kind of in our Constitution that the president has to be born in America, and they literally had her as an illegal alien as an
Right.
alien from another planet as the president.
It started off when it was on CBS. That first season wasn't so
Yep.
bad, but like really the first season of Arrow, first season of The Flash, and first season of Supergirl were all relatively watchable. You could say that they're not the best thing that ever happened, but for a TV show, they were rather entertaining. It's just they got greedy so quick with the CW. It's like their strategy during those days: we'll launch a show, make it halfway decent, and the second people like it, we're bringing this big truck of agenda and unloading all of our agendas on the show like nonstop.
Yeah, Arrow was phenomenal the first couple of seasons, two or
First
three
couple of
seasons.
seasons,
Yeah, yeah.
if you really saw the first season, it was legitimately. I enjoyed watching that. I'm ashamed to admit it now. The first season of Arrow I enjoyed, and I'm ashamed to admit the first season of The Flash I also enjoyed.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff, and they adopted some good stuff from the comics. The villains were good, and Arrow, Deathshot or Deathlock. I'm mixing up my comic villains, but God, he was Manu Bennett was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was
just
good.
Deadshot, excuse me.
Yeah, no, that was
yeah,
good.
you were scared of him as a villain when this villain comes on the screen in Supergirl. You're just like laughing at him, and you're distracted by all these piercings he's got.
Yeah, he's got studs driven in all over his face, and the shit-eating grin.
Yeah, they never explain his powers.
And you know what he looks like in the comic? He just looks like some dude. Like he actually doesn't look. He looks like this kind of warrior dude in the comics, but he doesn't have all these weird pins on his face.
Yeah. I wanted them to like use like an electromagnet as a weapon against him, like tear all those out of his face or something. We didn't get that, unfortunately, but so yeah, we kind of wrapping up here, Act 1. So yeah, the girl shows up, Ruthie, asking Kara, please help me, whatever. So she she goes outside and they're kind of talking about it and whatever. She's telling her, no, I'm not going to help you, whatever. And tells Kara that, she's after this guy and he's trying to escape the planet. So he's going to, he's still here somewhere. We need to find him. And of course, what happens then? Well, he's sneaking up into this parking lot. Is that what it is? It's a... There's a whole bunch of ships all parked around in this giant field, and he comes up, and they find, for some reason, her ship, Supergirl's Kara's ship.
She left the door open,
and they decide to go in and take that ship. And that's when Crypto sees him, and we see this in the trailers. Crypto starts running at the guy, and he pulls some gun and shoots him with a dart that poisons him. And that's
that's like Captain Kirk getting poisoned by the Mugato.
Yeah. It's all instantaneous. Knocks him down. They go to some like local doctor or whatever that says, "Oh, it's going to kill the dog. It's a poison that these brigands use to try and torture people." Doesn't seem like that would work very well as torture, but whatever. It's going to kill him in 3 days. And lucky you, though, the bad guys carry the antidote with them at all times. Which for me, this is the first biggest plot hole in this film. They talk about how this is used by the brigands, not Krim. All of the brigands use this, and they carry the antidote with them. Why does she have to go after Krim? Why can't she just find some low-ranking brigand somewhere that has the antidote? Because the doctor tells them, "Oh yeah, they use this all the time, and they carry it with them." And so she could find any brigand.
Yeah, because the big bad is the guy. He of course wears the antidote around his neck, and they use it for interrogations, I guess, to get information on it. I guess, but yeah, that's a great point, because it wouldn't be just the only guy that would have, if it's a common weapon that they use.
She knows about it. The doctor lady knows about it. Says it's something they use for interrogations or use for whatever. So yeah, and then also as we wrap up the first act here, she starts to head off to her, if you could call it an adventure, she has a little stopwatch and she sets it for 3 days, which she says, we have 72 hours, buddy. It's like, so this planet is also has a 24-hour
Yeah,
day?
I was wondering about that because initially they said it's three
three
turns of the
moon
moon.
rises.
Yeah,
three
so
rises
then
of
it
the
should have
moon.
been like 28 hours or something, or something a little bit different. That's sloppy writing there too. It's,
It's just got to be exactly 72 hours because apparently every planet has to have exactly the same rotation and whatever. But anyway, that wraps up the first the first act. We do have a super chat, Price.
Okay.
From I don't want to leave it for too terribly long. It's from Istophobos.
Do you have a way to highlight
Oh
it?
yeah, I can share it. Hold on a second.
Every time like those suns thing happen, it's such a convenience. It's like anytime the plot needs you to do something.
Yes, we will definitely talk about the thing with the suns. But that drove me crazy.
Yeah,
Ista for $2 says, "Hey, I use semicolons. It's a useful grammar tool."
I am sure that
Yes.
John Smith with that thing was an AI bot. It's just so strange that there's a bot that would bother coming to our stream and post that there.
Yes, but yes, as I said, people who know how to use semicolons will use them, but your typical chatter on YouTube has no idea what they're doing with a semicolon or where to put it, and so that's why it's
only English teachers know how to use semicolons properly. When I need to use a semicolon, I ask my mother-in-law, who's an English teacher, "Am I using it right, Grammy?"
Yeah,
she's the grammar police.
Did I do it right? Did I do it?
It's
yeah, it's an it's. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, the dog's poisoned. That's finally that's the straw that broke the camel's back. She's gonna go out and she's gonna find this guy and get the antidote. But she tells the little girl, tells Ruthie, this has nothing to do with you. I'm gonna go get this antidote. I don't want to be part of your revenge thing. Even though they're literally going after the same guy, she doesn't want anything to do with.
Right
with her while they're trying to go out and do this mission. So she says, "No thanks, I'm not going after him for revenge. I'm gonna go off and do whatever." Well, of course she's lost her ship, so she has to take a bus, which we see the space bus. That's also something we saw in the trailers. Was that Seth Rogen?
Yes, it was. It was
God.
annoying Seth Rogen, which
always
pulls me out when they have these
CGI.
Why don't they just get a talented voice actor instead of pulling you out of the, it pulls you totally out of it because it's, then you
Seth
recognize
Rogen.
Seth instead of thinking it's another, just an alien.
And they stole or kind of ripped off Harry Potter there with the night bus, where there's one guy that's actually driving, but then there's like another guy that's sort of like his co-pilot or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you've got the head in the night bus that's always talking to people, whatever. Now you've got this little tiny alien who's voiced by Seth Rogen, who's the one that's chatting everybody up because the other guy doesn't speak whatever the common tongue, which apparently common tongue is English all over the galaxy. But
thank God.
So she hops the bus and immediately we get another fight. As this movie is just like a bunch of fight scenes tied together, and none of them are very good fight scenes either. They're all poorly conceived. They're all sloppy. This time the bus gets attacked by techno pirates.
Yeah.
They're there to steal technology.
Because they don't have enough tech.
I wanted to tell you that I think that this is the scene. Until now, the movie is bad, but at least there's something resembling a plot that seems to be moving along in a very poor way, but nevertheless moving along. Once they arrive on that bus, for me, that's when the movie just goes off a cliff. Like, you could tell that there's no real vision or plan or anything. It's like, from that moment, just a series of random events and conveniences all across the board for me. But go on.
Georges IRX in the chat says, "On the clock, still waits for a bus." Yes. she's desperate for time.
Yeah.
Takes the bus.
Yeah, there's no urgency there. It's like,
No, not at all. So they fight these techno pirates, and she steals this little teleportation device off of one of their belts, and then uses it to teleport all over the room while she's fighting. And
yeah, because she's got no power. She still has no powers.
yeah, because she's still powerless because they're not in a system with the yellow sun yet. But during the fight, the yellow sun in the system comes up over the horizon just in time for her not to die in the vacuum of space.
There's not even like a setup and a payoff for it. There's just randomly, the whole thing with the bus is annoying to begin with, and then the thing with the sun is where I really felt like this movie is just like, if so early in the movie, without any kind of setup, you need to do a cheat like that the sun just arrives and makes her strong, without anything even cooking. If at least somebody earlier would have said something that you understand that at a certain time, something, give me something, not that even then it would have been shitty, but they don't even make the minimal effort. It's like the sun is there and now she's strong.
Yeah, because she asked the bus driver, are we near yellow sun? Can you drive a little closer? And he's like, well, if I had balls and gumption or something.
Or an engine. If I had an engine or balls.
And then one guy in the movie theater started laughing hysterically, and it was kind of funny because no one else laughed.
Yeah.
And it was like the only laugh in the whole movie. And I think the better part was that we were kind of like, what's wrong with this guy?
He said balls.
He said balls. He was laughing.
I felt like that sentence when they said it, I barely understood. I don't know, it sounded like they were mumbling. I didn't even understand. I now remember that there was such a line, but I didn't laugh.
So it was an engine or ball. If I had an engine or balls, I could do it. But so she decides to put on a spacesuit and she jumps out because she's trying to get to where she can get the rays of the yellow sun on her or whatever.
No, but she gets ejected. She doesn't have a helmet on. She
gets ejected before she puts on the helmet. So she just barely, just before she dies in the vacuum of space, she gets the golden rays of the yellow sun start bathing her. And then she's able to start fighting back, and she's zipping around, flying through everywhere. Some of this CGI looked genuinely bad, which is awful because this was made by or the effects studio was ILM for this, but it looks it doesn't look great.
That's probably why the whole movie looks so dark, because like the animation, like the CGI is so poor that they do everything like that you could barely see the characters and it's dark, probably to fix this. Another thing I wanted to say, when I went to my theater, I don't know how it was in other places, it's the thing where they give you the 3D glasses. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't feel like this movie did anything in 3D that was interesting. Like, I didn't even remember that I was wearing those stupid 3D glasses. There wasn't even one moment that I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Was it IMAX 3D too, Price, or was it just the regular?
For me, it was just, it said real 3D.
Real 3D.
Because it makes it even darker too.
Yeah, real 3D sucks. It cuts way too much of the luminance out of the picture. It gets really dark.
You probably couldn't see anything. Which
I know, probably nothing. But it wasn't even. You're right. It was dark anyways. But the thing is that not only does the 3D make it darker, if at least it had some cool 3D. But I'm telling you that I don't remember. You know how sometimes you see movies. I'll give you an example. The first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I remember that I saw it and it was like a 3D format. And there were some scenes in that movie that I specifically remember that because I was wearing the 3D glasses, they were a bit cool. Now, do I love 3D always? Sometimes it annoys me. But I remember in that movie, like especially towards the final act, there were a few moments that I'm like, okay, well, at least they made some use of this 3D thing. Didn't feel that way about Supergirl. Not even one moment.
Yeah, I agree. I did not see that in 3D when it originally came out, but they did a re-release just a few years ago, actually. And we got to go see it in the theaters in IMAX in 3D. And the 3D that they did with the Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't really standout for most of the film. But you're right, there were a few scenes, especially near the end, where some of the 3D work that they did was really good. I could care less for 3D. I will see a 3D showing if that's what I have as an option. If that's the only option.
I bought, I haven't really had a really nice, well, I still have it, but it's kind of obsolete now, but a really nice Epson 3D projector. with active glasses. I haven't used it in years, but I was buying a bunch of 3D. I know, or back when 3D was the craze. So
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy we watched in my backyard with the kids, and it was really good in the 3D. You know, it's kind of a novelty at home, but with these active glasses that you know, you don't lose the brightness stays up. It was really good. I mean, it's just a fun thing, and then I don't even bother to set it up anymore. But this movie was just so dark, and the price maybe it was better. You couldn't see half.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything going on because it was so dark. Because it was like, yeah, it was already dark, and then you cut that in half, and man, oof, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, I thought she should have been totally like they made her mostly dead, but I thought she should have been all dead. She's freezing. I mean, if you don't have the powers of Superman or, you know, Kryptonian, you're in the red sun. She goes out into space and she's freezing. Like, how did that, like, isn't she dead? How did that bring her back to life? I guess maybe she had some red, you know, yellow sun charge left, I guess. Or
yeah, well, sometimes dead isn't dead. She was only mostly dead.
Yeah, she was mostly dead, I guess. Yeah. Right. Oh, it was bad. Oh, it was bad.
Oh, yeah, it was rough. So yeah, she gets her powers, which, by the way, this for me, like, this started one of the things that drove me crazy through the whole movie. And this has been mentioned. I heard other reviewers talk about this, but her power levels, it's always like she's depowered, she's powered up, she's depowered, she's powered up, she's depowered, she's powered up, and it just keeps going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. This, like, they can't have any drama at all when she's powered up because the villains are pussies. They're worthless. They're useless bad guys. So they have to depower her all the time so she can get her ass beat, and then she gets to power up, and then she can show up and start killing people. And it goes back and forth like this through the film, like a half dozen times, and it's just awful. It's terrible writing. It's just terrible writing. Let's see. After she manages to take the bus back, I have a note here: interplanetary rest stop.
Yeah, right.
The bus pulls over at a gas station in space. Basically, pulls
Buc-ee's.
over at a Buc-ee's. Space Loves pulls over, and this is where we get the scene where Kara is eating popcorn, or is it poop corn from a bug's ass?
Where they had that
there's like a fish that poops the thing, right?
Yes. I will give him this. She gets a big bucket of it and then goes back onto the bus and then takes one bite and goes, "Oh, it tastes like shit."
But
I did giggle just a little bit at that because, yes, obviously it would taste like that.
But the one thing I'll say is that I don't love, and this existed in the Tom King comic. I mean, in the comic, what they do is they don't have her really cursing. They have those letters that, like, of curses where you don't know what curse she's saying.
Yeah,
it's like a censored curse. In this movie, she just curses all the time, and I also don't like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why this character. It doesn't feel organic to me that this character would curse all the time. I know Tom King tried to do it in the stupid comic, but I still didn't like it there, and I like it even less here when she's actually saying the curses personally.
Yeah. And then also the other thing that I just sort of giggled at was she quite literally just buys an icy. It's the same cup with the same rounded, like, bubble top on it and everything with a straw, like in space. Like, they just have, like, the same icy cups that they have at your corner gas station.
Well, the people that have gone to see the World Cup and are going crazy in America just brought those into outer space. So
there you go. Yeah. They love those.
They brought some ranch dressing with them too,
and some ranch dressing. Yep, gotta take home gallons and gallons of ranch dressing.
Yeah. Did you notice all the Earth phrases and jargon that they threw in with these aliens? It's like, how long has she been on Earth? Like, not that long. Like, how would she know all these references? That made no sense to me.
All of that, and then there's other stuff too. So after this, they get back on the bus. They're talking about how the brigands are kidnapping all of these girls and whatever. Which is when I was like, wait, if their MO is kidnapping girls, why the hell did they leave her behind? That doesn't make any sense. They should have kidnapped her and taken her with them if that's what they are doing. They head to this other planet where they go to a bar. because they're looking for brigands there, and they're in an alien bar in space, and the singer is singing "Girl from Ipanema."
Couldn't stand
I
that.
get
Couldn't
What's
stand
going
that. Oh,
on?
it's good you remember that. I see. It's funny when I watch these movies. Sometimes I block everything from my mind. That was so annoying. Why would they do that? I mean, look at Star Wars with the Cantina song. With the Max Rebo band or whatever it is. Or no, Max Rebo is in the other. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
The Cantina one. In any case, what I'm trying to say is that George Lucas understood that it needs to be its own thing. They're not going to play a song that you can hear on the radio now in the real world.
Yes.
Yeah, it's literally, it's a space cantina. It's on another alien planet, and they're singing jazz standards.
Although I will
from
say
Earth.
that I think that Jedi Rock sucks. I'm never.
Yes, Jedi Rock does
It's
suck
so annoying.
horribly.
So that one, I think in Return of the Jedi, the Max Rebo band was the original thing that they sang there, and then
Yeah.
I think that they tried to revamp it and do Jedi Rocks. The animation and all the CGI there looks so out of place with the other stuff that happens in the movie that it just sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't know what George Lucas was thinking with that, but never mind. I won't get into it. It's just I thought about it, and it was like an itch that I had to scratch. But go on.
Ista says that Star-Lord must have left behind his tape deck.
Which, by the way, she looks like Star-Lord. She has his jacket. She's trying to tell his jokes, which don't work. And
she's trying to tell she's wearing the headphones with the orange foam, the 1980s style headphones. Which
who still has those? Nobody grew up in the 80s. I got freaking iPods. I mean, what's going on? Kara can't afford iPods.
Yeah, she does have an iPod later on, but she has those old, it makes sense for Star-Lord to have those, right? Because he had those from when he was a kid in the late 80s. So that makes sense for him to have that with his old Walkman. But no, she has this with an iPad that she got in whenever she landed on Earth. 4 years ago. It was actually a really old
iPod too that she was using. If you noticed, it was like an ancient one. It's like, why would she have something old? Did she rob the thrift shop? I mean, wouldn't hey, your cousin, he's got a decent job, right? Here's an iPod, or like have an iPhone, right?
Yeah. Here's she's just the updated version of Star-Lord now. She gets into an arm wrestling match. And oh my God, the writing here and her acting, so smug, and just it drove me nuts. And of course, it leads us straight into another fight. It's the bar fight that we see in the trailers. This isn't going to go good for you. Yeah,
I think that was probably the worst scene in the whole movie, or the worst
terrible.
acted. I mean, and then she snaps the guy's arm in half. It's like, you've got superpowers like crazy. What, the first guy she swats away. I mean, you could have killed the guy, you disfigure a guy for life like that. Not that, I guess they're showing the bad girl version of, Supergirl here, but, and again, for like young kids to see that, I mean, I'm semi-squeamish sometimes. I'm like, I didn't want to see that. I might felt bad for the damn alien. It's like, that's not a fair fight. I mean...
Indeed. Yeah. So I believe she had once again ditched the Ruthie. But Ruthie shows back up at this point.
It's hard for me to remember. Which was the one that there was two people at the bar? The one with the arm wrestling that at the end of it. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't think she ditches her. I think that basically
Ruthie was parents, still with her.
Okay. The parents say that they basically they say that they'll help them and they'll give them a place to shelter. And then she comes out and they offer her a drink, and then she drinks the poison that they gave her, and she notices that it's poison. So she wants to throw up. It turns out that those parents had a child that was taken from a girl, and they did a deal that they'll get their girl back if they give them Kara and what's her face.
Yes,
and Ruthie.
yeah. Ruthie, so while they're at the bar, though, that's when they meet up with Lobo. So after the bar fight, Lobo is there and is questioning the bar owners about this one particular guy that he's after who happens to be a brigand. So they're all like, "Oh, we can we should join up, whatever." But Kara doesn't want to talk to him because she knows who he is and he's an asshole and whatever.
And it's a reshoot probably, so they didn't have the footage of her talking to him. But
she does end up sort of slipping in front of him because the Ruthie tries to talk to him. So she jumps in front of him and says something about, "Oh, we're from Earth and we're touring all these planets and whatever." And then he tells her happy birthday. I don't remember her saying anything in her dialogue telling him that it was her birthday, but maybe I just
something must have been. No, I think something was. Oh, she might have said. It was very tough to understand a lot of the lines in this movie. She was doing like this Valley Girl accent. She might have said, "I'm on my birthday tour from Earth."
Yeah, maybe she said. Maybe she. There might have been a mention.
That. I didn't hear it, but I was just like, "Wait, did she say birthday?" Because I don't remember. I didn't catch that if she did.
Mark, you're right that there were moments that it felt like people were mumbling. Like there were moments that I didn't. I thought it was just me that I wasn't sure I heard correctly what they were saying. I don't know why, but there were moments like that in the movie.
Right, it wasn't just me. Then, yeah, I was like, "Wow,
no,
I'm having trouble."
Now I'm relieved because there were a few places I'm like, "What did they say?" And then it just moves on, and like, it's not even that important. The sad thing is, I wasn't even worried that I didn't hear what they said because I know it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but and then I guess she and Kara seemed to know who Lobo was. I guess.
Yeah, she did know. So he's like infamous. She saw him. She's like, "Oh God!" Like she's sort of covering her face, like, "Oh no, I don't want to talk to him." Like. And telling Ruthie not to talk to him because she said he's something about he's a bounty hunter and he's such an asshole he killed his entire race, something like that.
Yeah, but why she even care about if she's got the power? She's Supergirl. Why she shouldn't be scared of anyone? That made no sense. Like they didn't explain it well. I mean, just bad writing all around in this movie. And Lobo is just so shoehorned in here, as you said. I mean. And even as Momoa, I mean, as good as he is, like he fits Lobo, he really doesn't. He only has maybe one semi-funny line, I thought, that we'll get to later. But it's not. It's really kind of a waste to have him shoehorned into this movie because they're not even working together. There's no partnership there. He just kind of flies in and out, as you said, into random scenes. It's and he doesn't make a difference.
It feels like a reshoot. I think. Imagine the bar scene. Where delete him from the scene altogether, you could make the same scene and he's not there. It wouldn't make a difference. That's why I think it's each time you see him, it's a reshoot because in almost every situation that he arrives, it's like there's no meaning to his presence. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Yep. Yeah, he doesn't accomplish anything or nothing. Yeah, nothing happens. Yeah, to. Because of Lobo being there, it's just he's just there for eye candy, basically, right? I mean,
or he's like a Lobeus ex machina, like he just he arrives when they need him, like there's something he needs to do, and he just shows up and does it, or pushes some bad guy or whatever. But it all just it doesn't fit. And you know what? Because of these reshoots that they were scared that the movie sucks, which it does, that they wanted more Lobo, it actually ruins the flow of the movie. Now. On the flip side, if the movie had the flow, it wouldn't be any better. So that's probably their decision. They're like, listen, there is no flow. Just put him in here. Like, at least a few moments won't suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't dislike Momoa. I think that he could have been a decent Lobo, but there's nothing in this movie that justifies like him even being in it, aside from the studio was worried. And rightfully so, but it doesn't help them in any way. It's not going to sell more tickets. Nobody cares. And I think that people, moviegoers and fans are already like, know all these games at this point. We all kind of felt that this was something that they're trying to push him into the trailers, making it seem like he's something in the movie, when really he's practically nothing in the movie.
Yeah, it was a very disappointing cameo. Yeah, because as RJ Godzilla said, yeah, Lobo is as powerful as Superman. Yeah, so but they didn't really explain why Kara didn't want to deal with him. Like, oh. She didn't say like, "Oh, I can't stand the guy. He's a jerk," or they didn't explain it well. It's just because he's so shoehorned.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. She just says essentially he's an asshole, and I don't want to. Don't talk to him. He's an asshole.
There's a lot of stuff in this movie that could have used an additional explanation, and they're like, "Nope, fuck it." Sorry, Sean.
Well, they find out that the owners of the bar know brigands, that they know, and so she's gonna the one of the owners, the female, of the couple she's gonna call someone she knows who's a brigand, so they can come and they can talk to him or whatever. So they offer them a room, as you said earlier, Price. They offer him a room. They go to the room. They sit there, and this is where we get the big long flashback. Where we learn about where Kara came from, right? So we get the big long flashback to Krypton, where we find out about both her brother and or not her brother, her father and her uncle both knew that there was something wrong with the core of the planet and everyone was going to die, but no one would listen to them. So her uncle sent her cousin off into space. So that's Clark, who, what I wrote down, the quote that I wrote down was this: they see this pod flying overhead, headed out into space when as the planet's starting to fall apart, and they say something about, is that Kal-El? And then the mother says, the sweet little boy, our brother declared the conqueror of worlds.
Yep.
What?
Why did they put that in there? I know why they did. We know why they did, but it's like, it's just horrific.
I'm happy they put it in there. You know why I'm happy? Because now people can't tell me you don't get it. Brainiac did it. There is no Brainiac. If those guys on Krypton thought the same thing that his parents said in that recording that they said was like 100% legit. Saying that Brainiac put all of this together at this point would be an even bigger stretch than it already was, which means that James Gunn was just a douche, like I said he was.
You're right. I'm not going to argue with that one, because I was trying to explain it away, and now you can't explain it away anymore.
Yeah, they doubled down on this ridiculous idea. Obviously I mentioned before, taking from things like Invincible, Dragon Ball Z. We're going to send our kid off to conquer a planet. When he grows up, he'll be so powerful he can conquer the whole planet himself. So that's, they do that. They do that callback, but then his father has another idea, and that is that they have this shield. We also see this in the trailer, this giant shield that bursts out and covers Argo City where they live, that protects that part of the planet, so that when the planet blows up, falls apart, there's still this chunk of Krypton there. And it says in the film that this happened 8 years before Kara was even born. So they have, this long period where this city is just sort of floating out in space on its own.
Yeah. Does it have any propulsion, like in Space 1999? I was thinking of Space 1999 with the moon goes up, but you said that Krypton explodes, but I guess they explain it with a force shield. But I mean, how the heck how did
it continue orbiting its sun instead of just being blasted out into the cosmos? It
looked cool. I have to say that the effects looked cool.
Yeah, it did. It looked fine, actually. I thought it was a solid effect and looked interesting. But then we find out that eventually, everyone in Argo City starts to get poisoned, because when the planet exploded, it exposed an element that they had not known up till then that they call kryptonite. And it's then started poisoning everyone in Argo City. And everyone's starting to die from the... They say it's the element, but then they say it's radiation that's coming from the element, from the planet. Yeah, but that's when they decide to send their daughter off into space. So the father basically has the plans for the same ship that Kal-El was sent off in, but just makes them bigger.
Hey, can I get in the ship too with my daughter? Can I make the ship even a little bit bigger? Maybe. Yeah. Can we all go?
Yeah. You made it 100% bigger. Why not make it 200% bigger, and then everyone can get in it and go with her?
Yeah, wouldn't people have been, mutinying? Like, hey, how come he's making this ship? Can we all get in the lifeboat, or who gets to go in the lifeboat? I mean, But yeah, and I thought that was an analogy for something else that I won't mention because we can get in trouble depending on YouTube for what vocabulary you use. But
yeah, the mom says something to the effect of, "We can't send our daughter to another world to become some sort of god." Again, sort of calling back to the same same thing about conqueror of worlds, whatever. Like, okay. But they want to save her from the radiation, and so they put her in the pod. The mom tells her not to be nice, but to be good.
Yeah, you don't always have to be nice, but just be good in the end.
Yeah, just be good. And then her dad tells her to use her power to protect others. So she's not the evil conqueror that Superman is.
Your jerk of a cousin, yep.
Don't be that asshole like your cousin who was sent there to conquer the planet, right?
If only that phone message on YouTube that we left him hadn't gotten garbled, he would have known to take over the planet, damn it.
Yep. And as to why she couldn't translate the message, or what, I don't know, but or wouldn't tell him about, oh, I thought your dad sent you here to conquer the planet. Why aren't you doing that? That's, I don't know. Maybe her parents never told her about that because again, she wasn't born yet when that happened. It was, according to this story, it was 8 years later after he was sent. But anyway, they do.
I was just saying real quick in the comics, I think Kara is supposed to go first, if I remember right. But then she gets knocked off course.
Yeah, or there's like a time anomaly. There's a couple of different versions of it where she gets sent either before or at the same time as Cal, but doesn't make it to Earth until many years later.
And he's old and he's young, like 10 years younger, but then they end up being the same age, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, or there's some of the versions where he's more like in his 30s and she's still like 18 or something. Yeah. As Price mentioned earlier, the bartenders sell them out. They're telling their stories, and then she comes down because she's curious, like, why hasn't this brigand guy shown up yet that you're supposed to call?
But here's another thing that was strange to me. They wanted, I know this is going to be a rabbit hole, but work with me. The couple that betrayed Supergirl was diverse. Okay, now I feel like, I hate to say it, but I feel like they said, wait, isn't this a problem that they're diverse? So then they said, well, let's A, make it clear that they had no choice because it's their daughter, and B, they have to start showing remorse, especially the father. He wants to try to help her. He never even wanted to do the bad thing because they're such good people, so he was really struggling with the bad thing, and like after they give her the poison, he like wants to give her the milk. Do you remember that part that the father sort of regrets doing the thing, making them a little more sympathetic, that they're not just betraying her, they're doing what they think they have to do for their daughter, but they're actually really, really good people. Do you get what I'm trying to say? What they were going for?
Yeah,
they really wanted you to understand that.
Yeah, we had to, because we had to trade 2 girls for 1 girl for our daughter, and
well, they do pay the price in the end, though, right?
Oh, they do.
Oh, but we'll get to that in a second, because that is probably one of the worst moments of the whole movie, what happens in that thing. But go on, Professor. I like your recaps.
Well, that was just after they try to drug her, and that's when we see the brigands are on their way. Their ship is coming. She's desperately trying to get some milk because she thinks it's going to help get rid of the poison. Something of that, of that nature, whatever. But then
coat her stomach or something.
Yeah, to coat her stomach.
You said some isn't she like got these incredible superpowers and she needs milk?
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's on. Is she? No, she's not on a planet that depowers her at this point.
No, she's not.
I was confused about this. Did she have power here or not? What does she care about the poison here then?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Did that poison have kryptonite in it at that point? Because later there's a poison of kryptonite. I guess maybe you can infer that had kryptonite in it, even though
there was something in it that affected her because she's Kryptonian in a way. But they didn't really sell that. They just sort of said like it was almost like it was supposed to just knock her out, but it made her really ill instead. And the couple seemed confused why she had such a reaction to it. There was something of. I
She
don't
was
know.
supposed to be
But
paralyzed, I think,
They
right?
didn't
yeah,
explain. It's another one of those cases where they wanted to do some strange thing, but they didn't want to explain it. There's
yeah,
so many moments in this movie that they just don't feel like going the extra mile. Throw a sentence somewhere, explain something, give even a dumb explanation to it, just as long as somebody addressed it. But to just not say anything and expect like, oh, okay, it'll be fine, is really annoying.
yep. Well, after that, we get another pointless fight scene. Of course, she's depowered here a little bit because she's been poisoned. Remember, we got to depower her and then power her up again and then depower her, power her up again. So she's depowered a little bit because she's been poisoned by whatever this stuff is that they gave her. And so they have this big fight, and she's able to fight back a little bit, not so much, whatever. But yeah, there's a fight, and we get to see Lobo shows up in the fight. And then Krim sees the couple. They says something about, she doesn't look knocked out to me, or she doesn't look drugged to me, or something. Sees the couple running away, and then he chases them down and murders the both of them, and then kills the daughter.
It's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse. I have to say, whatever you said is all true, but there's one part that you didn't say that for me is like the moment I looked at this thing and I'm like, this movie sucks. I thought it sucked until this moment, but this was like the decisive blow. So basically, there's a theme in this movie that Supergirl on the one hand, and this is why it doesn't work, because it's not even like the stupid comic, which also had a stupid theme. In the comic, at least, throughout the movie, throughout the story, she's wearing her Supergirl outfit. She's a little more noble. It's still stupid, but it's at least trying to make her a little more like Supergirl. Here, they wanted her to be such a drunk, loser, cynical bitch that you don't want to learn any lessons from her, and you don't care about her, and she's not a good example for anybody. So here, what happens is that Ruthie wants to kill Krem and supposedly has a chance to give him like a fatal blow. But Supergirl's like, no, don't do that, because she's trying to save her soul. It's like, first of all, you're not an example for anything. Were you to lecture about anything? You're just like a dumb bitch. And then at the same time, sorry, Sean, but at the same time, she stops her from killing him. And what does he do the second she stops her from killing him? He kills the parents and the little girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I wrong? Is that's what happens? That the girl wanted to kill him, she stops her, and then he goes and kills 3 people.
Yep.
So then she's like, "Well, why did you stop me?" He's like, "Oh, I wanted to, make sure you understand the difference between justice and vengeance." It's like, bitch, there's a guy there about to kill parents and a girl. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, it's a great point because, yeah, I mean, if you're, say, a police officer, the notion of self-defense, if you're meeting that force with equal force, yeah, you can maybe show restraint, but then, by blocking, the girl from, taking out the big bad guy that none of us cared about, then she
Right.
let the parents get killed. And of course, with her superpowers too, how the hell did that even
How?
happen? That's
She's
so ridiculous.
faster than a speeding bullet. How the fuck
Oh,
did she not go there to stop them?
She's depowered because she's
Oh, the
been
poison.
poisoned.
Drank the poison. Ugh, I can't stand this stupid movie. And
Yeah.
if she's depowered and the other girl does whatever she does, and the thing is, at the end of the movie, what's the whole lesson here? She's like, no, justice is good, vengeance is bad. So she takes the sword. Sorry, but you know what happens at the end. And it's just like, so what the fuck did we even do this whole movie for? And I'll tell you this, even the shitty Tom King comic ends at the end in a way that you understand that she didn't actually delete the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It
was
actually takes a
confusing.
step back to kind of give this stupid justice and theme that they're working on. Now, Mark will agree with me because I think he read this dumb comic. It is a shitty, shitty comic. It
That's
is
bad.
shit. It's this thing that they're like, oh, it's more like it's a character study. Anytime some weird bitch with blue hair says it's a great character study, you know that thing is a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, character study is already like a red flag, and this whole comic is shitty. And I can't believe that I'm saying that the comic is better, or the themes make more sense than in the movie.
That is probably true. Yeah, yeah, and it was it was ambiguous at the well. That you think maybe Supergirl could have killed him at the end, but they don't tell you, which is good fiction does that too. And I'm not saying that book was any way, shape, or form good, but at least you want to leave something to the audience to interpret, and to eviscerate the bad guy at the end. It's like then you're looking at Supergirl just as in a horrible light, because after that whole speech about you know, not killing the guy, and then she goes ahead and does it, and you know, Ruthie was right. I mean, yeah, that whole family was wiped out.
I want to highlight this. Strogan says, apparently Angry Joe said the comic was peak. Now, one of the things that these weirdo shills are coping with, what their cope is, and that includes Grace Randolph. Grace Randolph, actually, I saw, I think I saw some of her review or whatever it was. Relatively speaking, for Grace, she hit on a lot of points that I actually agreed with, which is probably the first time I ever heard her say anything that I had some stuff that I agreed with her on. But both her and Angry Joe have one little shill thing in common, that in order to remain, not be the chuds and still remain, like, you know, supposedly honorable reviewers with integrity, what their line of defense is, well, the Tom King comic was fantastic. It's too bad they didn't adapt this comic the way it was, because the source material was so great. Now, I call bullshit on that, because the source material itself was a piece of shit. Mark, you read the source material,
Yeah, no,
right?
it's horrible. It's horrible.
I'm just a minnow in the world of comics. I read comics growing up, but I'm nothing compared to you, not even the professor. But you read that comic and I read it. I thought it was shitty. What did you think of the comic?
Well, the art is horrible, and it's just it's one of those horrible character studies. I mean, you know, you know, I've got
It was
20,000
boring.
comics in my in my basement, so I've read a few of them, and this is just this modernly garbaggio, to quote our buddy Cloudbrain Times, and it's just
Rip Clobby, by
ridiculous.
the way.
It's just ridiculous, ridiculous, horrible storytelling, and it sends all the wrong messages, and it's
But by the
you know,
way, just quick comment, and it ties into what you're saying. If you're watching this stream on YouTube, you should definitely do a subscribe. Sometimes people come from one of my other social accounts or another channel or something like that. So if you're on this channel, know that this is a channel for live streams. You may be subscribed to something else, not yet subscribed to this. You should absolutely subscribe to this now. You can click the like and do whatever it is. Or if you're on Rumble, Rumble is the headquarters for this show. If you're on Rumble and you're watching through the app, but you haven't yet opened an account, you can open one for free of charge. And then it's a flat platform for free speech. And we do streams here, and you'll always get notified. And of course, they also have premium. But if you don't want to pay for premium, there's also for free, where you could try it out and follow us. And then you can listen to all of our streams, which is what you've always wanted. And now back to you, Mark.
yeah. So thank you. Yeah, it's just. And Tom King is very divisive in the comic book world, right? Some people love him, some people hate him, right?
Angry
And I've
Joe and
never,
Grace Randolph love him, and most of the normal people don't like him. And I don't consider
yeah,
myself the biggest comic book reader, but I know a piece of shit when I read it, because I grew up, like, you know, with the Amazing Spider-Man and things like that, Wolverine. I read comic books that, like, didn't suck, at least in my opinion. And I would choose whatever I liked, you know, as a kid, those kind of things, over this Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic any day of the week. It felt like a sham. Like somebody thought that they were doing some kind of high art, sophisticated thing. But if you really think about it, it wasn't really sophisticated and it wasn't really high art. It was just some pretentious bullshit. That's what I thought it was.
yeah, that's a good way to summarize. And Tom King famously, you know, Batman was supposed to marry a Catwoman, and then she leaves, dumps him at the altar. It's like, oh, I mean,
Yeah.
that was such a famous. Oh my God, people were just so annoyed by that whole. You know, what a fiasco that was. I mean, so yeah, Tom King is not too popular among certain circles, we'll say. And this is just totally the wrong book to adapt. If you're coming out, you know, James Gunn's Superman didn't do, you know, was great, right? To be kind. Um, but I thought it had some potential there in terms of the actors and you know, the casting and some moments. I did like Mr. Terrific. I got my Mr. Terrific action figure in the mail today, actually. But you got to follow up with Batman, or if you're going to do Supergirl, you got to do something that's light. And if you want to do quirky or have some comedy, yeah, you can do that, but not this dark, depressing Tom King adaptation. And it's just, yeah, it's just really dumb way to go. Especially James. The speculation, I guess, is James Gunn could be out. When the new owners take hold, and it wouldn't surprise me if all this gets erased. Although I do like Brosnahan and Cornsmith if they did keep them, keep that casting or just go in a totally different direction. But yeah, or do a really cool Green Arrow. Like Green Arrow hasn't been on the big screen. Like you could have done a really cool Green Arrow movie or something. Comic book fans are mostly dudes, right? So why are we coming up with Supergirl, and then you're not even appealing to the quote unquote demographic you think you're going for? With young girls, you're trying to make this something that guys will like, or an older demographic, and you're missing that whole other demographic, young girls that you should allegedly you're trying to bring in, like they did with Star Wars.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah. Let's see, where were we? Picking it up kind of story wise. They like I said, big fight with the brigands, weightless, pointless. They end up she stops Ruthie from killing Krim.
Wait. Did we talk about the jail cell scene with Lobo?
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's coming up, I guess,
so
right?
she stops her from killing Krim, which would have saved 3 innocent lives. But no, stops her from killing Krim, and then the bar owners and their daughter all die. And then Kara needs some primal scream therapy, so she flies way up into space and screams.
And by the way, they kind of copied that idea from one of those Mad Max, I think, Fury Road. There's something where Charlize Theron in the desert does like this silent yell or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I feel like they tried to do, I may have even seen online that some people showed like back to back, like a picture of it, or somebody said something. It really tried to go for like that whole. It's obvious that they wanted it to be Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, they stole tons from Mad Max Fury Road.
They actually stole like shots from the movie. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. So yeah, she goes up into space with her little primal scream. She smashes back down into the planet, and then she goes to one of the other guys that's there nearby, weird alien guy, and basically says like, "Do you know where the brigands are? Take me to their planet." And they want girls, take me to them, right? Or something. And so then they make her put on a hood and they fly her out to this planet where they drop her off. She leaves Ruthie behind. She goes off to this planet where these other guys drop her off. And then she finds out that that this planet has a green sun and a yellow sun. It has 2 suns. And as the green sun starts rising over the hills, she starts dying, passing out, because the radiation of the green sun is poisoning her. Now, Mark, I am not the most knowledgeable comic book guy, but I don't ever remember anything ever about a green sun being poisonous to
nothing.
Kryptonians.
What I thought they were going to do was say like this was, they landed near Argo, or there was some kryptonite on the planet or something. But a green sun maybe would take away their powers, but it wouldn't poison them. So that didn't make any sense. And then I guess don't they know that Supergirl's there? And then that's coming up as you explain it. But I have some big questions about what happens with Supergirl on this planet. But I've never heard of anything like that.
I did an AI search, just curious, like any mentions of green suns in previous comic books. It found one World's Finest from 1966 where they went to a planet with a green sun and it had essentially the exact same effect as a red sun or a blue sun. They just didn't have powers.
Yeah, no powers, right? Yeah,
but not. It did not like suddenly start to irradiate and kill her like it does in this movie. So then she sort of passes out and she wakes up in a cave. Oh, well, she's passed out. She has a flashback. She has a flashback to when she landed on Earth and met Clark. right? We saw part of that
Yeah,
one in the trailers as
it was
well.
okay. It was
It was
okay.
fine. I kind of, honestly, I liked the vibe that Clark had there. Like, got trying to like welcome her, trying to tell her like, this place, it's actually pretty great. There's good people here, and you're going to be welcome here. And I was fine with that, right? And it was kind of interesting that he doesn't speak Kryptonian, right? And so
Yeah.
she only speaks Kryptonian, and
I
so there was
I was born here. Yeah,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
kind
Well,
of funny.
yeah. But we get a little bit of her in the flashback where she's all depressed, living on Earth because her whole planet is gone and she can't connect with these humans. She's like, she's like sitting in her apartment, or maybe it was Clark's apartment. I don't know, in Metropolis, like just sitting there depressed and crying. Whenever it's like, okay, whatever.
Well, part of that I can kind of excuse
Yeah.
or explain. I think part of that's okay, but she's just such a downer in this whole damn movie.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it takes, obviously, I mean, everything you knew, everyone you knew is gone. Your planet, your society, your culture, your family, like everyone's gone. Yes, you do have your cousin, but it's not like you grew up with him, right? He just is another Kryptonian, and you have no relationship there. So I mean, it does make sense that she's going to be depressed. She's going to have a hard time with this. But she wakes up. She's in a cave, and what do you know? Once again, Ruthie has found her. Ruthie apparently smuggled herself aboard the same ship, like in the cargo hold or something, and came to rescue her. So dragged her into a cave to keep her out of the radiation of the green sun while she tried to recover. And she goes out to look around for some water. I think she was going to bring her some water.
Yeah.
And ends up getting captured by the brigands.
And my question is, now these brigands, it was a setup to take care of there because they know they had the green sun on this planet, the Kermit the Frog planet that would kill her or incapacitate her. Why did they let her? Why didn't they just capture her then? Why did they let her wander off? And how far could she have gotten? Wouldn't they caught Ruthie there? Wouldn't they have like just wandered around and found Kara pretty quickly? I mean, or am I being too logical?
You would think so. If logically, yes. There's some other logical problems here as well.
Okay. I want to quickly everything that you mentioned. First of all, I don't think in the movie they really explain what this planet is. Is it a kryptonite planet? How does this planet make her weak? Why? I feel like additional explanations here could have helped. How does this guy even know anything about the kryptonite? How does this guy even know anything?
Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't know. The writers don't know how he knows, and they figure we won't say anything, and maybe nobody will notice. But I did notice because the story doesn't lead up to them taking her to the planet in a way that makes sense. Also, if it's a thing where it's like a binary system or whatever it is, that there's like a sun that's the yellow sun and the green sun, and the yellow sun is going to come up. Well, when the yellow sun comes up, she gets strong. So what they should have done, not that I mean, I'm saying if the plan was made any sense, they her to the green planet where she's weak, and once she's weak, they get rid of her. They delete her.
Right?
They delete her or Price. Here's the other one. They're flying around on a spaceship. Do you know what spaceships can do?
Travel to where there isn't sun.
They can move around.
Right.
So they should simply keep their ship on whatever side of the planet the green sun is still shining.
Exactly.
They don't do that.
You're right. That's a very good point.
Oops. Yeah.
So they don't delete her. They don't move her to a place where she doesn't do the yellow sun. So what was their end game? They'll bring her to this place. The yellow sun will come out and they'll kick her out, and she'll kick their asses. What was the end game?
Yeah, I don't know. They do end up capturing the other girl, Ruthie, and then when she gets thrown in prison there, and for some reason, Lobo is in prison with her, is being held by the brigands.
Reshoot, because the thing is that I don't think they'd ever even capture him to put him there. The other thing is that the dumb thing is, and maybe it was already a reshoot because she had to get out of there. I think that what needed to happen is if this movie took itself a little seriously, Lobo would be the one that beats up the guards, releases her, and he says, "Hey, like little girl, let's go now and take care of like all these assholes." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that would have made sense. Instead, like she jumps on one with her chain and she's like choking him and getting rid of him. I don't believe it. I don't believe any of that. And then she basically like releases Lobo. The whole thing is so fucking stupid.
It's massively dumb. Here's the problem. Mark knows this one. I've read some Lobo comics before. Maybe you have, Price. Lobo is essentially just as powerful as any fully powered Kryptonian.
Yeah.
He can go toe to toe with Superman, punch for punch.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a kryptonite. There isn't like something that depowers him. Whatever. He is just a smashing machine. He wanders around just destroying stuff all over the universe. These freaking stupid brigands are not going to be able to hold Lobo in a cell, much less one that's just made of some steel bars. Like,
and you'd think they would know that because Lobo was, Kara knows who Lobo is. So you think do you think Lobo is a recognizable character in any way, shape, or form?
Just a little, yeah. It's
because so the way they said that, my buddy too, I go to see all these superhero movies with Chris. So shout out to Chris if you're listening. But he's like, shouldn't Ruthie have died like 100 times over in this movie?
Yes.
She's got, and I mean, come on, I've dabbled in self-defense, like not much, but I mean, I remember we did like an exercise, and they were trying to teach the the ladies how to fight back, and the funny thing was, like, back then I was really great shape, and like women see stuff on TV and they're like trying to like grab the guy or throw the guy, and like I could lift the girl up with like one arm basically, and then we're showing them like you got to use your legs or kick them in the nads, or it's like, so this little Ruthie, this brigand, these guys are like super powered, aren't they? Like this guy catches a tank at one point, one of them,
the Krim does at one point, catches a tank,
so and they didn't show like Ruthie getting trained, or like, so she's got the chain. I mean, this guy's like a 300-pound behemoth, and she's like a young girl that's like, what, 70 pounds, 80 pounds? He's just grabbing her and throwing her. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, maybe I was waiting for her to like use the poison. They said the cages, the spikes were poison. Like do something like that, maybe trick the guy so he poisons himself. But there's no way she's taking
but no,
down.
She pulls a Jabba the Hutt on this 300-pound behemoth of a man. She's, I'll talk, take me to Krim, whatever, and then jumps on his back and chokes him to death with the chains. Like it's,
and Lobo claps like, I knew you could do it, and then like you're forgetting
basically
something.
The equivalent of "you go, girl."
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. He says that.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense that he was captured by them. Again, the guy's I mean, again, this is the Guns DCU. We don't know what his power levels are like, but in the comics, Lobo is basically invulnerable, and he's incredibly strong. If I remember, he has like a regeneration factor, kind of like Wolverine, right? Like he can basically like heal from any injury. But she chokes out the guard, and then she escapes. She's gonna go. She gets all of her weapons back and everything. She gets all of her gear. Lets Lobo out. She has to unlock
breaks. Well, no, then he breaks through she unlocks it, right, and then he breaks through.
Yes.
He knew he could have gotten out at any time. Obviously,
could have. He should have been able to get out at any time, but she gets out and goes and starts putting her stuff together. Then we see the scene of the green sun is set and now the yellow sun is coming up, and so Kara's powering back up again, but she has her super suit with her.
Yeah.
Where the hell did she get that from?
The girl brought it to her. I remember that when she was dying, the girl said, "I brought you your suit." So then Kara tells her, "I don't even like this stupid suit. It doesn't mean anything to me," or something like that. And then I guess
where did the girl get it from?
She said she got it from
her ship.
The ship. She did. There was a line, but
there's a line. I found it on your ship because Creme de la Creme took her ship, so she found the creme in the creme, and she brought it to Supergirl while she was dying. But she said she hated the suit. But the big, wow moment is that she put the suit on because she finally understood that she's like the good guy. And then a second later,
she found Kara's ship somewhere.
Yeah, there was a line. It's very tough to understand a lot of
because I didn't catch this. I did not catch it. I was just like,
I caught it. Yeah.
She said, "I brought you your suit," and I'm like, from where?
Well, because Creme sold the ship, and then there was a line there's a throwaway line I snuck on your ship, and in the end she said the suit is just the dumb suit. It's not going to help me. It's not going to heal me or whatever. So,
but yes, the yellow sun comes up and she starts powering up again, depower, power up, depower, power up. She puts on the suit and she heads in. We get yet another nonstop fight. For some reason, all the brigands are partying on top of the ship. I don't know. They were training or fighting or something on the top of the ship. This is where we get another fight that we saw in the trailers, her swinging like a crane around like a mace or whatever. But then Krim shows up and shoots her with kryptonite darts. Because somehow one, he knew she was a Kryptonian.
How?
Two, knew that kryptonite was a thing that could kill Kryptonians.
Again, how?
Three,
and you know what?
It had a dart that would pierce her skin. I don't.
Okay, so what I want to say is, and this goes hand in hand with everything we've been saying, like with the Green Planet, with other things. It's like they don't make the minimal effort. Just have a few people say a few lines to each other. Make the minimum effort to explain this to us, and they don't even care. But you're right, 100%, Professor. All of that annoyed me.
Yep. But she's been stabbed by this kryptonite or whatever, and then she basically shrugs it off. Like she just sort of pulls the darts out and just sort of shakes it off.
How though?
They show the
How does
cells.
she shake it off?
They show their cells inside her body turning green and red.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
How though? How does she overcome it? I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It's the power of woman. Is what she is the woman of tomorrow, so she can just shake off deadly radiation. Then, of course, Lobo rides in to, do his part in the fight, rolling around, blowing things up, throwing grenades everywhere, blowing up the ship.
Well, yeah, because isn't Kara's about to get her head chopped off, and then Lobo comes in and saves the day, I think, wasn't...
There's something like that.
I'm trying to remember now. It's tough to remember this, and it was only a couple hours ago. But,
yeah, and that's the Lobeus ex machina. He just shows up kind of and does something.
Whacks the big dude. Yep.
Because
he's got a bounty. He's got a bounty on one of the.
Yes, there's the one guy. He's still chasing his bounty. Yeah, and he goes after that guy still. Yeah.
And in the end, he doesn't take the guy with him or turn him in.
No, he doesn't. You don't see anything where he takes the guy with him. He sort of gets killed. But this is also the part where during the fight, that Ruthie just gets thrown off the side of this ship and is dangling by a rope, like by one hand, holding onto it with one hand. Kara does absolutely nothing to help her. She just dangles there.
And as she falls, she's falling to her death.
Yeah,
right?
Moments from death. She's just dangling there, and she does nothing to help her whatsoever. Again, this ridiculous fight keeps going on, but then eventually she knocks Krim off, who is then dangling from the same rope that Ruthie's dangling from. The ship starts to crash, and so it just gets low enough that she can just sort of jump off and land on a hill.
if Krem is so strong, right? Because a couple of scenes before, didn't he, did he catch the tank in the scene where the family gets killed? Right, gets deleted. There's this tank that's falling in that scene, and he just catches it with one arm. So if Krem is that strong, like falling onto this rope, he's just going to be able to like fling himself up. And at one point, I thought he actually flew, or was it me? Did I see Krem actually like?
There was a point where it looked like he flew, but I think he was like being pulled up by a cable or something up to his ship. Because there was one point where he sort of like raises his arm up, and it looks like he just takes off like Superman. But I think they show like in this next scene, like he's slowly sort of raising up to his ship. So I think there was supposed to be like he was like grabbing onto a rope or something that was lifting him back up to the ship. But so yes, it absolutely looked like he just lifted his hand and flew.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It did. Let's see. So Ruthie tells Supergirl, who is finally now wearing her outfit, tells her she needs to save the brides, all the girls that were, that had been kidnapped because they were still in the ship. So she goes in to save them. She saves them. Then she comes out and she saves Ruthie again because she's surrounded by a bunch of these brigands. And then she has to fight off a bunch of the brigands.
And it's all boring, right?
Oh, it's so just boring. It's just
a boring
dull.
fight. You don't care. There's no weight to the fight. And that's the problem with Superman and the Kryptonians being that powerful too. Like Wolverine is such a great character because you can beat the crap out of him. He can't die, but it's just enjoyable. Sorry, Wolverine. Like the characters that can take the most damage in comics always do. Cyclops doesn't get beat on like Wolverine because he'd be dead, right? So, or Mr. Fantastic, he's always getting shot because, he's Mr. Rubber, so it can't hurt him. But like, they're just so powerful. And then the creme de la creme, they never explain his power levels or say he's almost as strong as Lobo and you're not scared of him. So it's just, Supergirl, Supergirl's going to win, but it's how she does it. Yeah, and that swinging the chain around with the gun was kind of fun for a couple seconds. We've seen it in the trailer. But nothing has any weight to this. There's no gravitas, and they're letting Ruthie dangle there, but she's not going to die,
of course,
or at least Supergirl like could have gotten hurt trying to save her, or something happened where it's she knows she's in danger and she's got to get to her. But and a couple times she's reaching for Crypto's the cure to the poison, and she can't hold on to it. It gets away. It's like, oh, it's just so cliched.
Yeah. Read by nature in the chat. Maybe he's like Samurai Jack. You can fly? No. Jump good.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But she finally, there's another showdown with Krem. Ruthie is going to kill him. And Kara says, no, you can't do this. He'll stay with you forever if you kill him. You're innocent and whatever. And so talks her out of it, and then turns around and stabs him twice.
Brutally, yeah. So for what you've done to this girl, and for all the people you've killed or whatever. And I guess Ruthie Ruthie's out of the frame. She can't. She can't see this.
She tells her to walk away before you change your mind or something like that.
Yeah.
And then she turns around and then kills him. Just brutally, stabs him a couple times, once in the neck. And we did, we saw that we saw the line. It was in the movie. It was in the trailers as well, where she says, oh well, I'm. That Clark sees the good in people. I just see the truth, right? So, she's almost more of like an anti-hero in some ways. I
actually mentioned this before. It's that they wanted to make her like the idea was Clark, Superman. They wanted him because this is my opinion, because he's a white male. He has to be privileged, How do they make him privileged versus her, that she's the real victim? Because he leads a charmed life. He was sent as such a young baby, was scooped up by some parents in Kansas, and everything is great. He's a goody two-shoe. He's happy-go-lucky. He's shielded from all the bad stuff that she had to go through because it's like, remember that thing from Wings of Power? You have not seen what I have seen, or whatever it is. Like, she's the girl that's been through all the tough stuff. He's just some little nothing. You know what I mean? She's the main character. She has all this pain and all this stuff to go through because she went through the tough times. And I hate all of that personally. I think it's shitty.
Yeah. It
Yeah, it's
denigrates
crappy.
Superman's character too, because Superman is all powerful, so he could be a bad guy if he wants to, right? What's anyone going to do about it, right? So it's his innate nature, and they make fun of him, as the big blue Boy Scout, and of course I'm a scout too, so I take high offense at that. But yeah, it's that's the nature of his character. So they're really, deconstructing Supergirl here.
And if you think about it, that whole harem thing with the ladies and Jor-El, that also shows that he's from the evil patriarchy. He's a product of the evil patriarchy, and he basically led a charmed, privileged life that white male Kryptonians usually do on Earth. Didn't have to go through the trials and tribulations that Kara had to go through. And this is all by design. They want the Kara character to be the gritty one that had to go through some tough tests, and basically Clark is like a spoiled dum-dum.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like the line at the end, why is he wearing his underwear on the outside? It's like, it's not underwear. If you know anything about the comics, they're fighting trunks. It's like a wrestler would wear, fighting trunks. It's not your freaking underwear on the outside. I mean, it's just throw that stupid joke in there. And plus, it's supposed to be Kryptonian dress too, and the symbol, is the House of El. It was added later. It's the House of El. Means hope. But she would have recognized his clothes, right? So at least in the movies, when they did that, they always wore something that looked like Superman's, uniform. And when she's in this little bubble ship, she's wearing some like bubble wrap, some weird outfit or something as she comes through. But they didn't carry that over, so that's also bad continuity in the movie and the DC universe, because that's where Clark just doesn't invent these clothes out of whole cloth. Like, I think I'm going to put an S on my chest. It'll look cool. It's supposed to come from Krypton. So that was really and trying to just make fun of Superman and his outfit. I just don't like it.
Yes, that's
yeah. Did you notice there wasn't a post-credit scene, which to me means
there were
like
nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess kind of at the end of the movie here. So she kills off Krim, and then she gets back to her ship again. I guess Ruthie found it somewhere on the planet, so they get to go. Yeah. They go back to it, and flies her back to her home, and says, she says something. Ruthie says something about, my aunt's gonna watch after me, something like that, and then. Of course they go and they save the dog, right? I forget. She goes. She gets show that, but she gets the stuff, and she goes and she gives the dog. They go to the doctor, and the doctor gives the dog the medicine, and of course he's been on death watch for days now, but gets one shot of the antidote, and he's right back on his feet and perfectly fine, because that's how medicine
works.
Pretty quick. Yeah, that's how medicine works.
Too, yeah. I was like. That was impressive.
I love how there was never even one moment of consideration of her taking him to a solar system with a yellow sun.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Who in the chat asked that same question too? Was it RJ Godzilla, I think, or I'm trying to remember who it was, but
they hand wave this option away by simply having the doctor who's there say, moving him will cause the poison to progress more quickly. But it's going to be 3 days, right? I mean, even if it causes it to progress twice as fast, surely they could get on a starship and be somewhere with a yellow sun in a few hours. Right?
That made no sense.
Since that would have, ostensibly, I would assume that would have allowed him to sort of survive the poison or whatever. But anyway, they never mentioned that. It's just hand waved away. Oh, if we move him, can't move him. So they go back, they save the dog, and then they're talking, and she tells her I'm going to stay with my aunt. And then Kara says she's going to go back to Earth, but then Crypto doesn't want to leave. He's there next to Ruthie's side, and so she finally Kara gives in and says, I never finished celebrating my birthday. And then Ruthie joins her on the ship, and they blast off into space, which was clearly intended to be the end of the film.
Yeah.
Right. The way that it's shot, the music, the dialogue, that was going to be the end of the movie, blasting off into space. And that's, credits from there.
Absolutely.
But instead,
just real quick, Supergirl, you mentioned like your aunt won't matter if you leave for a couple days. Like, how about like phoning the aunt or saying like, where'd Ruthie go? Like for 2 days? You
literally have a ship. You could just fly over there and Ruthie could run in and be like, hi, I'm going with my friend. For a day,
Yeah, they just say
we're going to go to bars and drink, apparently, because that's what she does when she celebrates for her birthday.
But the line should have been, "Let's stop at my aunt's house and tell her we're going." That's all you needed to do. Like
Simple.
your aunt won't mind if you're gone for a couple of days. Like you're not going to be on the planet; she's not going to know. Or I'm like, this is not a good message for young kids. Just leave and don't tell your family's been wiped out. Your aunt might be a little bit extra protective about you at this point.
Indeed. But yeah, we do get one more scene after this, which is her returning to Earth. She's there in Clark's apartment, and she talks about how she's ready to stay on Earth now, and she calls Earth her home. And that's the end that we get there. Although I'm going to say this was weird. Now, I don't remember what the apartment that he lived in looked like in the previous film all that much, but in the previous film he was living with Lois.
I don't think so. I think he goes over to Lois when Lois screws him out for the dinner. I think his apartment is a little bit nicer, I think.
Well, the apartment that they're in just looks like a nice hotel room. There's like no decorations in it, nothing. Like it's the like super bland, whatever. But she shows up, and she tells him, "Oh, I'm gonna stay on Earth." And he basically says, "What about Crypto?" Because Crypto's like basically trashing the apartment in the background. And the last line of the movie is, "Oh, he's into the chocolate. Don't eat the chocolate."
Chocolate's poisonous for dogs. So
yes, but then he's a super dog.
Yeah, I guess Crypto would be okay, but I did kind of like that scene. Well, Corn Sweat is so good, and she did have like one twinkle of a moment there where you could say, she's kind of settled into the role. But this movie was such a dud. The journey that she takes to get to this point, it's just not worth. It's a
mess. It's an absolute mess of a film. And the journey is, like I said, it's up and down. It's here, it's there, it's over. There is not like a coherent theme and story that's being told throughout this. It's all over the place. And there's this, no, you don't want to be the one that takes vengeance. But then it's okay if I do it. And you don't want to, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird film.
She's murdered creme de la creme.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's justified. And Lobo was like, clapping. Basically, Lobo loves it. Right. And then he flies off without his bounty because he has a line before he says he's all about the money, basically, Lobo. And then don't you want the money? Like, why are you leaving this guy who, tried to drive your super cycle away? I did not buy the $40 Lobo popcorn bucket, which did look kind of cool. I did get the Supergirl one because I did want a bladder buster drink. So that was okay. But Lobo was just such a caricature in this movie. It's just shoehorned in. And her journey is just not, they try to redeem her in the end. And I do like the scene with Cornsweat, because he's he's really great in this role. He seems very comfortable as Superman now, and kind of the aw shucks, but he's you could see he's happy when she says, "Yeah, this is our home." But
yeah. I mean, obviously that's part of the arc, and that does make sense for her, kind of like accepting that this is her home now. And at the very least, I thought that was a good way, a better way to end the movie. It at least gives there is something positive there. But oh man, yeah, this is just such a mess of a film. An absolute mess. The story is so poorly written. Like I said, there's the just annoyingness of they're constantly depowering and powering Kara up depending on what situation she's in, because they don't know how to write her when she's actually powerful. The only thing she does when she's powered up is smash people. Right. She's running around in fights. There's constant fight scenes. Most of them are muddy and dark, and you can hardly tell what's going on. They have no real weight or consequences to them. It's just like, oh, time for another fight scene. And there's just to me, there's no redeeming qualities whatsoever to this film.
Yeah.
Over on Rumble, Radio Streamer has a funny question. He has a hate watch challenge, and he wants to know if it should be Ghostbusters 2016, Supergirl, or Force Awakens. Which one is worse? Which one would be the one to for a hate watch challenge?
I would say Ghostbusters 2016, maybe.
Yeah, I think that would have to be, because I mean, that's a pretty terrible movie. But yeah, Supergirl's bad too. But Ghostbusters 2016, there's so much to hate in Ghostbusters 2016. There is some of the worst, just completely does not land humor. I mean, it's bad.
I didn't laugh one time. I mean,
no, not even once. And then there's stuff that's in there that you just like, it's just palm on your face. Like, why did they? I mean, oh, such a disaster of a film. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, it was bad. It was just really bad.
So bad. Yeah. There's plenty of reviews out there from other reviewers for you to talk, to take in on YouTube. I'm sure Price is going to have one of his own posted fairly soon. But
I really wanted to today, but between all the events of today and
all the other stuff,
having stuff outside the internet thing, just really difficult. I did start to work on it, but I'm going to try to work on it tomorrow. In a few cases here, I think you reminded me of stuff that I forgot. So I will obviously credit you with you and Mark at the end with the title, as I sometimes do. I don't know now I don't even remember what it is that you reminded me, because there were a few things that I'm like, oh, I forgot about that stupid thing. There's so many stupid things happening in this movie that sometimes it's hard to remember all of them, really. But if I had to sum it up in a sentence, it just forget about all the nitpicky, all that stuff. I've seen movies that maybe aren't perfect, but there's some kind of fun vibe to them. You still get through it. You say, you know what? It's a fun popcorn movie, even if it does have its flaws. But that wasn't it here. And I dare say that, as much as Superman by James Gunn was a disappointment for me, that's still, I said at the time that it was a somewhat competently made movie. It just wasn't a good Superman movie and didn't feel like a Superman movie at all to me. And in this case, it's not even that. It's not that they took her and made her a joke. It's that the whole movie is this kind of miserable, depressing drag with no hopefulness, with no nothing. Just this I don't know what hard to put the words to it, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's no fun. The movie is no fun.
No, it's not at all.
And that's not what needed to happen. Mark was saying it needed to be wholesome for families, for young ladies. This is none of that stuff. I don't know who they were making this movie for. The men don't want to see it. Little girls won't want to see it. Women don't want to see it. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, you could say she's not the best actress or whatever you want to say, but she looked the part, she was athletic, and she had a good vibe, and she was feminine, and people liked her in that role. That when people saw her on screen, men liked her, women liked her, men and women together wanted to go to the theater to like her. And even Aquaman, the first one, wasn't a good movie, but people went to see it. Ladies liked him, they liked how he looked. Guys don't mind Jason Momoa. It was like a decent popcorn movie. There was a little bit of fun to be had there. And it's not a great movie, but you're like, okay, whatever. This is nothing like that. James Gunn came here to try to give his vision of why everything before him was the worst thing ever and his was the best. And honestly, there was a lot of issues with stuff that came before him, but as many issues as there were before him, for me, he's worse. He's significantly worse at everything.
Yeah. When you were saying like movies that, maybe don't succeed everywhere, but there's still something you can enjoy. Just since we're in the superhero genre, for some reason, my mind instantly went to Mystery Men. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
I
like Mystery Men. I did like Mystery Men.
With Ben Stiller and
the shovel dude. What was William H. Macy?
Yeah, William H. Macy. Yeah, as the shoveler. Yeah, so
Janine Garofalo.
Janine Garofalo. Yeah, she plays the bowler. Yeah, so it is not a brilliant film, right? It's not going to win awards. There's probably a lot of people that wouldn't love it. It has its problems story wise and whatever.
Yeah,
but in the end, you're kind of like, that was fun. It's ridiculous. It's in some places a little bit crude and off, but in the end, you're like, okay, I had fun with that. That was a funny movie. It's not everyone's favorite, but and it does have problems. It's definitely a movie with problems, but in the end, I had fun with it. Right.
I loved it.
So
I loved it.
It's because it's so bizarre. Right. And they have, who's the villain in that I'm
forgetting now.
Jeffrey Rush. Jeffrey Rush plays the bad guy in that. It's ridiculous. Casanova Frankenstein, I think was his name.
Yeah.
It's kind of just off the wall ridiculous thing. And Greg Kinnear plays like the superhero, the Superman character.
They get killed right away.
Yeah, except he's like branded himself. He looks like a NASCAR. It just has logos all over. But anyway, it's just like, there are movies that may not be a huge winner, but at least in the end, you come out, you're like, that was kind of fun. I had fun with it. This one, there's just nothing here. There's nothing where you're like, oh, but remember that scene with no, there, none of that is here. It's a very empty script. It's like interludes that just lead from one fight scene to another. And by the way, some of these fight scenes are awful.
Oh, they're horrible.
There's one scene, I think it's at the end, where you see they shot it and it's shot wrong. The camera's in the wrong place because you can see Millie Alcock pull her punch. You can see that it just completely misses the guy.
The wrong angle.
Because it was a bad angle.
It's like a throne room, like Last Jedi throne room.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like it just looks terrible. So the fight choreography is bad. The CGI is bad. The script is bad. The acting, I rarely blame the actors for the script they were given, especially when it's this terrible. Millie Alcock, I don't know if she was the right casting for this. I don't know if she was the wrong casting for this. I don't think anyone
could have saved this.
I don't like this Supergirl. I don't like the scripted version of Supergirl that we're given here.
I don't think she was the right casting choice. I think that she is a quirky, cute actress that could have been something, but I don't think she's good for this. She didn't. You could say that the screenplay didn't help her, and maybe that's true, and maybe the directing didn't help her, and that's probably also true. But I didn't get the vibe. I didn't get the feeling. Like with Corn Sweat, I can tell he wants to be good, and they won't let him. And with Millie Alcock, I don't know that she has the tools to make a good performance, and she's just being held back. I think that she just, she's not right for this role. I'm not saying she's the worst actress. I thought in those 4 episodes of House of the Dragon, thought she was good. But sometimes you have an actress that's good at something, and it doesn't mean she's good at everything.
Well, I
Yeah.
think she did show a little bit of a spark at the end, and the message of this movie is not a bad message in terms of the overall arc. It's just how they get there, and it's just a total mess. So, uh, and Millie, Supergirl killing the villain, I just hate it. I hate it. I mean, I'm a huge Batman fan, and that's the one thing, Batman doesn't kill, and not per se that oh, you can't have superhero take on another character, but Superman and especially Supergirl, should be aspirational characters that don't need to do that. And in the Tom King book, in the very end, spoiler alert, it looks like Ruthie's an old lady finally kills creme de la creme, but it's also could be semi ambiguous too, like if she just hits him or does she kill him. Like, most people think she kills him, but you could interpret it, but then Supergirl lets her do that too, so it's just a weird situation to set up this what's supposed to be a fun character, and having this violence, this gore, this dark movie, some swearing, peeing on Superman, seeing Supergirl pee, to be, oh, I'm so snarky, I'm you know uh, this is my take on these heroes, and yeah, I'm gonna potty humor is gonna really
Yeah,
elevate the material.
flipping people off and stuff
Yeah,
like that. It's like, yeah, oh, eating a worm's poop. It's like,
all
God,
these
really?
all these quote unquote, yeah, let's show how edgy it is, and really what you need is good writing to illuminate how special these characters are. And there's ways you can do it. Alan Moore, the last Superman story that he wrote before they revamped the character, whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow. That's how you do it. If anyone hasn't read that issue, Google whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow by Alan Moore. Man, what a tour
Mhm.
de force that nut Alan Moore.
Yeah.
God bless him, but he's a nut. But I think the crazy ones create the best art, I think. And wow, that's how you show what happens when a superhero crosses
B-
the line.
By the way, the big problem I see is, let's say I'll accept what you're saying, which I don't, but let's say I accept that maybe Amelia Alcock, we don't know, maybe she was good in the role and she was given a poor script. I can't see them course correct, because once they introduce a character with that actress in that way, it's hard to suddenly do something else. Same with David Cornsweet. I don't think he's a bad actor, but after seeing his Superman getting his butt kicked every 2 seconds and acting as Disparu, and I like the sentence. I quoted it, another time today. Disparu on some stream said, which I caught. He said something like, "This is the only time where we've had a Superman that when he's Superman, he acts like Clark Kent." And I think that exactly describes the problem here. And I don't see a situation where suddenly he'll have this kind of confident, cool persona that he needed to have, because we've already seen him as a bum. You know what I mean? So in both cases, even if these actors weren't a disaster, and at least in Milialkov's case, I don't know, I can't really tell you. We'll never be able to fully know, and there's no way for us to turn back the clock, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yep, that's a great way to describe it too. When you think of it, yeah, Superman exudes confidence, and that the fantastic scene, where Reeves is going to tell Lois, that he's really Superman. And he hunches over, and he changes just the tone of his voice. That famous clip, and he becomes Superman in front of your eyes, and then he realizes I can't do it, and he goes back to being Clark.
Right.
Oh, what a great scene! And Cornsweet, you're right. He doesn't exude that confidence
No,
or
Clark was his mask. Like, what we understand in Superman is that he's always the cool and composed and confident Superman. But in order for people not to know that, he will always make sure that his Clark looks like a bit bumbly and silly. But that's all part of his plan. With Cornsweet, there is no plan. He is bumbly and silly and not confident and not composed and not, doesn't have that noble kind of thing that Christopher Reeve has, because they told him not to have it. And now, if he suddenly had it, it would seem weird, because we've already seen him whine and cry and all this other shit. And now, if he does it, we won't buy it.
that's a great
Yep.
great point. Yep.
So yeah, they ruined it basically. Like James Gunn ruined it.
His humor was so good in Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, when I first saw that, I can't believe how good this movie was, and how did he pull this off with these obscure characters? And part of it, I think, was one element was a great soundtrack too, with all those scenes, and the soundtrack really was a big boost, and it's fun. I mean, it's just a freaking
It's
fun movie to
also
see.
First of all, that James Gunn still had something to prove, and he was also less like wokey pokey like he is now, and he was also less bitter and cynical, and he was also less egotistical because they didn't tell him that he was the big honcho. So all of that helped Guardians of the Galaxy. In addition, and I did mention this earlier, and I've mentioned this to Professor I think a few times. I have my friend Nick. The backyard TARDIS, who one day I told him, and this is I'm talking like maybe 3-4 years ago, because we talk every day about stuff, and I said something like, oh, like the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I like that, and he said I really didn't like the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I said that surprises me. People usually like it. Just out of
Yep.
curiosity, what did you like about it? Now, Nick, sometimes he has his own taste and his own takes, and they're very unique to Nick. Like there's stuff that he and I will not agree on, even though I think he's a great guy. But in this case, I understood what he meant, because he said to me, listen, have you ever read a Guardians of the Galaxy comic book? And I said, no. And he said, when this comic was out, most people didn't actually read it. And I said, okay, that's fair. But he said, but I read it. And the way they presented Star-Lord in the comics is not what we get in this movie. He said in this movie, Star-Lord is kind of like a loser, and I don't like seeing like the loser of the galaxy. And I didn't understand what he meant exactly. I'm like, really? Are you sure? Like, I thought it was this, I thought it was that. But when I see what happened with Superman, I keep thinking of what Nick told me at the time, because I can understand that James Gunn, he likes to take something that's one way and just make it his own quirky, cynical, weird thing that it is. And I guess with Guardians, which most people didn't read and didn't care about, he could easily get away with it. But when it comes to Superman, he can't get away with it because it's not that kind of character. It's not some obscure shit, like not shitty, but it's not some obscure thing that nobody even recognizes. Everybody knows who Superman is, and everybody knows who Supergirl is. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, because Star-Lord, because Guardians was rebooted too, so this iteration is done on the rebooted Guardians, and you got the original Guardians with Stallone and some of the characters in Guardians 3
Yeah,
at the end. So and Star-Lord, he's kind of like in this gun portrayal. Yes, he is like a big man child, which is totally different from the comics, but
very much.
yeah,
Yeah.
very few people read read those
Right.
Yeah.
You can
comics.
get
They
away
were
with it.
yeah, they were big. They were big hit in comic circles. That the cosmic art arc, from Marvel, and that revamp was popular, but it wasn't. It didn't take the world by storm. But among comic book fans, it's very well regarded. So yes, there were a lot of people that were pissed off, but I think it's not the same character, but the movie still works, right? And people don't get upset about Star-Lord as much. You get the comic purists who are pissed off, like how could you do that?
Yeah, the people who are really love the
Yeah.
the more classic Guardians, didn't like it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't mind that take on Guardians.
Yeah, and it's the
but
same.
then I'm not one of the one of the core audience of the original comics either. I can totally understand why some people were upset by it. Like I've got a friend who cannot stand the Lord of the Rings films by Peter Jackson.
Probably the third one is probably the one he hates the most,
because he grew up reading those novels and poring over all of the extra, the extra stuff, Silmarillion and all of these other, things. And like, it was just something he just loved and read multiple times, whatever. And then when he saw the movies, he's like, they did this wrong and they did that wrong and they screwed this up and they changed that and they ruined this. And I'm like, you know what? I read through the books when I was a kid, loved them. This is fine. I don't mind that they made some changes for the screen, right? I don't feel like they ruined it. But he's like, no, they ruined it. They ruined this. They ruined that. And it's like, okay, all right.
He should meet my friend Steve, because Whenever we get together, they're like, please don't ask Steve about Lord. It's like an inside friends joke. Don't ask him about Return of the King, because we're going to get the 3-hour lecture of how they screwed everything up. And yeah, they are kind of right, especially Return of the King and what they did to some of the characters.
Throwing in the love story stuff.
But I can see why they did it for a movie.
Exactly.
Movies.
Exactly. And see, that's why I don't mind, because I understand that you're never going to have media from one particular thing, whether it's audio or video or book. When you move back and forth between these different mediums, the story has to change a little bit. The way that it's viewed, the way that it's presented has to change a little bit, because it doesn't, just trying to do it word for word, straight from a book into a film often leaves a lot of opportunities on the table. And it can be very hard to tell certain things. Like when they made Dune 1984, like now you're hearing everyone's internal thoughts everywhere, right? It was like, it didn't really work. It was messy, and it was.
Well, plus they also had handouts in the movie theater, which I still have from going to see Dune 1984. It's on my Twitter feed if someone Googles it, but they actually had a 4-page handout. I got right in my drawer here.
Just so you know what a Kwisatz Haderach is.
And you would read it. You could read, like, if you didn't read the novel, so you knew everything. It was a primer before the movie. I don't know if any other movie's ever done that before or since, but it was, people were in the movie theater were like, why are they trying to sell us something? What are they handing? What are the ushers handing out? And like, that's a primer, so you understand what's going on in Dune. And a lot of people were mad about the Dune, especially the Chani in the last movie, how they've
well, that was
character on maybe.
That was an unforced error. They didn't have to make that change. They decided to do that, which is why I'm not sure I could care a little bit about seeing the third one, because I feel like they're just going to introduce even more of that changing of the story and of the characters and so on. But I just feel like you can't always perfectly transfer stuff from one medium to another. That was something that Douglas Adams was always very clear about when he had his various different versions of Hitchhiker's Guide. He was like, look, I can't take a radio play and then just turn that straight into a book. I have to change some things. I have to add some things. I have to cut some things for it to work as a book. And then when it's going to be a movie, we got to change some things and drop some things out and whatever. Of course, he didn't really get to quite finish that film, unfortunately. Yeah. And there was a lot of studio interference, but it was very clear that, we're going to have to change some things here and there in order to make it work in a different medium. So I don't mind when, there's a comic book. It's got to change a little bit to make it work on screen. I didn't mind Guardians of the Galaxy, but again, I understand some people that were a little more bothered by it.
Well, like, I didn't like the Martian movie that much because I read the book first, and I'm like, the book was just so much better.
They left it out.
They left so much stuff out.
I had the same reaction to some of the stuff in the more recent Project Hail Mary, right? There were things I was like, it makes sense for them to leave that out. That was like 3 chapters worth of stuff, and they just sort of said, yeah, we did it. It happened. But then there was some other stuff they threw in there. I was like, this wasn't in the books, and this is totally not necessary here. And then I didn't like how they did the ending. I thought the ending of the book was much better than the way that they decided to end the film. But I still enjoyed it, and I understood why they wanted to do something a little bit different with the ending. It's because there's a little bit
happier ending. Was it a little bit happier?
There's a little bit more visual to the ending. I don't know what to spoil it for anybody.
But I haven't read the book yet. I got to read. I got to read it. I got to plot out a night when I don't need any sleep, because The Martian. I started reading and I stayed up like 8 hours reading the whole damn book.
I mean, it's essentially you get the same ending, but the ending is revealed differently, and I like the way that it was revealed in the books. And I think that it would have been a really excellent opportunity for Grace's character and for the actor playing Grace's character to really have a really emotional moment on screen. Yeah, so it was not my favorite choice for the ending, but it worked in the film. I just liked the way that they did it in the book better.
I have to say that this thumbnail kind of amused me. So apparently, like every time this Angry Joe guy has been seeing this, is like meltdown is getting worse. But I
Is that Kara or is that the girl from the feral girl from
was it Land of the Lost or
was that Land of the Lost?
I thought it was Chaka from Land of the Lost.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Chaka from Land of the Lost.
From Road Warrior, the girl from Road Warrior.
Oh, is it? Oh, maybe it is. I don't know, but yeah, you've got Superman pouring salt in the wound, and
then he like did him
Joe.
with the lady.
Whose thumbnail is that?
Gary's.
Oh, it's Gary's. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
I guess like this really triggered Angry Joe. Apparently, this thing. I think this is funny. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got it. It's probably Pierre Chan does this. It's he uses AI and all that stuff, but it's a really clever use of it. I mean, there's some thought here. I can't say I don't think it's funny. And then let me see for a second if I can find some of his weird comments from the past few days. So he keeps having like all these meltdowns. You know, I'll get to that in a second. Let's see. Okay, so when they did this, he wrote, "LOL, my tweet triggered Nerdrotic so much that he had to make a video too. Yet not once does he address my point. Instead, he strawmans that Hollywood is bad, low-hanging fruit, and I'm just defending DC and Supergirl. Brother, what? Stop lying about me to your audience, Gary. How about you speak to me directly instead of taking cheap shots on your daily political news channel? Oh, because it'll ruin your narrative. All we need now is Critical Drinker to make a video too. Here's my tweet that hurts y'all's friends' feelings so much on Supergirl, so you can pick it apart for 40 more minutes, or you can just call me up. Keep it going, guys." I mean, what is, you know, that's the thing where he was defending her over stupid comments on the red carpet. Really don't get, you know, what this guy wants. He looks more ridiculous with every tweet. And I guess now, after he saw that it said like Angry Joe clashes with an Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker over Supergirl comments, that annoyed him. Because that was like trending on X. This is also something, I don't know if these things bother him, that Dean Cain thought that this was funny. And Nerdrotic put this image here and wrote "Duper Girl." I don't really, or this this other stuff here. It's funny. Come on, I don't know. I mean, what can I do? Like, I want to not laugh, but there's something a bit funny about this. What can I do?
She does have bad teeth, I gotta say.
Right. I mean, she doesn't look like this creature.
Yeah, they're not great.
I think she's kind of cute, but you know, but not. Yeah, that's, you gotta be able to laugh at that stuff too, right?
Right.
I mean,
so this is something that I guess he wrote today, and this is his latest thing from Angry Joe. To all of Nerdrotic's fandom menace brigading here. We predicted Supergirl would have problems before its debut. We predicted it would likely fail at the box office multiple times in our trailer reactions. Go out and see Supergirl, said at the end of one video in which we said all those things beforehand because we wanted to see a Lobo film. I also said go out and see Superman 2025, a film so many of you hated with a passion, y'all thought it was woke trash, LOL. I also said go out and support Black Adam, another bad film, because I wanted Henry to get another shot that he deserved. My audience has the context of what go out and support a film means, but they know our review is always on the way with our brutally honest opinion. You don't. Unlike your grifters, we don't decide a film is worthless or a failure based on LGBT interviews before we see it. We judge in our final review. We don't care if an actress said she could go both ways, which is why I tweeted at your masters that shit doesn't matter. And they got Bert hurt to send you here about it. It's not even in the film. I was right. The LGBT interview hate. The mocking of Millie's appearance by online weirdos on X. Fuck all that. Millie was right there too. Why do female-led hero films trigger Christian avatar dads on X to post disgusting shit which these guys encourage about her appearance while they teach their daughters to do the opposite. It's weird shit. Yes, the film wasn't as good as we wanted. That's right. It doesn't justify any of the piece of shit behavior from those that have your attention. Why are there so many caveman thumbnails from Nerdrotic and his ilk on Millie when she's the least of the film's problems? We know why, and I'm so fucking glad we didn't turn out like that, and that we don't care to appeal to the lowest common denominator with that shit.
No, he doesn't understand that there's a reason that those Chaka things keep showing up. It's because of him. It's not. It's not because they constantly want to comment on
effect.
her.
Right.
They quite literally keep doing it because it's triggering people like Joe.
Right. We were raised different. If you still don't like me calling out bullshit from your idols, tough. Cry here for us more. It helps engagement. So yeah, the guy to me seems like he's having a meltdown, but what do I know? I mean, this seems all like weird. And he started all this shit. You know what I mean? He started like engaging with this brew, if I remember, and then with Nerdrotic, and then with Critical Drinker. It's like I said what I thought, that he understood that this is a bad movie, but he doesn't want to be lumped in with the regular people that say it's a bad movie. He wants to be the guy that says it's a bad movie, quote unquote, with the heart of gold, if you know what I'm trying to say. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, he wants people from DC or whoever Shills that whoever access that he tries to buddy with to say, listen, I didn't like that movie, but, you know, I fully support all this activism and all of your weird shit. It's just I didn't specifically like this movie so much, but you and I are still on the same page. We're buddies. And if somebody somehow lumps him in with, like, you know, Nerdrotic or Critical Drinker, he can't peddle that narrative. That's my opinion. So in order to differentiate with himself from it, he starts this kind of battle, especially for this Twitter headline of she clashes with Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker. He doesn't agree. Yes, the movie had problems. Yes, I know it would fail, but it didn't fail because of what you said. It failed because of what I said. It's like, dude, just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
It failed because they didn't adapt the comic properly.
Right, and that's...
Yeah, it's like, shut up. Nobody read this friggin' comic, okay?
Nobody read. I read it. It sucks. And Mark, you know, me and Mark are the only two people that ever read it. And trust me when I tell you that it's a piece of shit.
Nick Weiser hates it.
Yeah,
it's just a bad. It's a bad. It's just a bad comic.
Yeah, this is not some revered source material, right?
No. I mean, grab if you want to do something, you know, avant-garde. Pick a Peter David story when he did, you know, the Matrix character of Supergirl. That was kind of a crazy concept, but they could have grabbed one of those great Peter David stories. My God, what a brilliant writer Peter David was, and I think he passed. Was it last year he passed away, or 2 years ago now? But one of my all-time favorite comic writers, and you know, that's what I always laugh too when, you know, people accuse you of not liking female superheroes. And I'm looking, you know, if you guys have seen my room on screen before, I got a ton of female superheroes here, and I've got a lot of Supergirl stuff all over. I bought a ton of the comics. Spider-Girl is probably one of my all-time favorite comics. You know, next to, you know, the FF. But man, that Spider-Girl run. I'm listening to all these people say, "Well, you just don't like all these girl bosses or don't want women to succeed." I'm like, damn, do I got to throw it on my female superheroes now, or what? Or the books that I've read or enjoyed? But they're good. The denominators, they're good writing and good story.
Yeah,
and there's no agenda to them.
Yeah, and it's so silly to be like, oh, they didn't adapt the comic right, as if this were some absolute classic tome. This is not All-Star Superman. This is not a Superman for all seasons. This is not Kingdom Come. Right? This is not one of these comics that is beloved, that gets like ultimate editions and all sorts of stuff because it's, you know, everyone, you know, wants the best possible version of this story so that they can read it over and over again. This is an despised in many corners comic. It's loved by a small group of people who, you know, we know the agenda that they're going for, right? But it's, you know, it is not this amazing classic comic book story that it's like, oh, well, you just have to adapt that, you know, exactly like it was produced originally.
Well, they should have done it with the Eternals, as we called it.
Eternals.
Turd TURD.
Yeah, Eternals. Yeah,
it would have been a lot better.
It would have been. Yes, it would have been a lot better.
Sometimes you just follow, but even following this comic, as a disaster as it was, I think the comic at least reads marginally better than the movie. I mean, probably makes a little bit more sense. I got to put myself through it and reread it again, even though I don't want to, just because I just watched the movie just to jog my memory. But it's it's just a shame that they James Gunn. I don't know what the hell you were thinking, James Gunn. You should have hired us on the panel. We would have, or the chat here would have helped you out and picked a better story.
Well, they hired a writer who has never produced a major motion picture. Never been a writer of a major motion picture before. Apparently, she got the job because she sent sort of a spec script to Peter Safran at WB, who saw it and said he really liked it. And then later on, when Gunn came onto the scene, Safran shared this Supergirl script with Gunn, who said, "Wow, I actually kind of like that. Now you need to go take this Tom King story and adapt that into a movie."
So she had a totally different story, Anna?
She had a different script, a different story, a Supergirl-focused thing that she had produced, I guess, and had sent on spec to Safran. And that was how she ended up getting this job. Now, is she going to keep writing the Wonder Woman script?
I don't
because
think
that's
so.
what she's been tasked with doing next. Quite frankly, I don't think they'll fire. I think they're going to stick to their guns. But I think that movie will never be produced because I'm still convinced that Man of Tomorrow next year will be the last James Gunn picture. It will be the last of this cinematic universe.
In spite of the fact that they tried to do a maneuver where Peter Safran said that David Ellison is a huge fan of James Gunn's work, I don't believe that David Ellison said he was a huge fan of James Gunn's work. I think that Ellison, at best, is waiting to see what Supergirl does at the box office, which isn't going to be good. What happens with those other movies? And if the contract ends in mid-2027, if you're Ellison, it's probably best to just let that thing lapse and move on, I would think. But regardless, there's another thing. You were talking about something before I forget. Take a step back. What were you saying? Oh, okay, yeah. So James Gunn, for this movie, he chose a director that has 7 out of 8 flops from his last 8. He's only directed 8 movies to date. 7 of them have been box office flops, and 1 succeeded mildly because it cost $11 million to make. It made $50 million. It was I, Tonya, which won awards, and it was about Tonya Harding, a movie that I didn't even feel like watching because I don't give a shit about Tonya Harding. Like, it's one thing if you want to make a movie about Nancy Kerrigan, but what the fuck do I care about Tonya Harding? That's just me personally. You can do whatever you want. But what I'm saying is that guy, that's his only claim to fame, is that one movie that he made for $11 million or whatever it is, didn't lose money at the box office. All the other movies he was given, especially big releases, whatever, flop after flop. So James Gunn chooses this guy. This is his director from the movie. For the second movie in this DC universe, he's choosing a guy with basically the worst track record. In addition to that, you have a writer that the only thing she's ever done is co-write a short movie, which is basically nothing. We can now, all three of us, write a screenplay, film something like, on our phones, create some movie. We can take it to some festivals, and somewhere on IMDb, it'll say we have a short film. I say this from experience. I know we can do it. Okay, so it means nothing to me. It's bullshit. Theatrical. She does theater plays. She wrote 2 plays. They're not on Broadway. Like I said the other day, all three of us can sit and write a play and go to the some town where you put on your own little production. There's a lot of things you could do. There's nothing special. She has no real credentials to her name. In addition, it's based on a comic by Tom King that people didn't like and thought was shit. So, shitty comic, which is the source material, a director full of flops, a girl that's never written anything, and an actress whose claim to fame was that she was in 4 episodes of House of the Dragon, and then she became Supergirl, and that's the main thing she has. And I didn't think she was bad in House of the Dragon. I don't think she's the right casting for Supergirl. Even if they gave her a better everything, I don't think she's the right casting. Perhaps though, if the writing was perfect, she could overcome it somehow just by being, giving a decent performance. But I don't know. The more I see of her, the less I like. And yeah, sorry about that.
No.
Well said. Yeah, Miley. I think I'm kind of torn because I did like her in House of the Dragon, and with a better script here, I think could have been better. But she's kind of that avant-garde, snarky, cute, kind of quirky character, and I just don't picture Supergirl being cast. It's Helen Slater,
Right.
that's Supergirl.
Even Melissa
Yeah,
Benoist
yeah.
was better than her. And I'll say this, people forget this. I'm not saying she wasn't good in the 4 episodes of House of the Dragon. But first of all, it's 4 episodes. And the other thing is that it was an ensemble cast, a serious production with an ensemble cast. Paddy Considine or whatever, the guy that played the king. That guy like gave the MVP performance of the season. I dare say that ever since he's not on the show isn't the same without him, because he really kind of held that focus of the show by being there, and him being on is a problem. I'm not saying she wasn't good as part of an ensemble, but it's not like she dominated everything. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to give even a younger actor a chance, but I don't think that she has that many credentials, and I don't think her acting in this movie is anything spectacular. Maybe one day I'll be proven wrong, and she'll get some great role, and I'll be like, you know what, she's wonderful. But I don't think she was the right casting either. And when you have everything, a lady with no credits in acting, a lady with no credits in writing, a guy with full of box office flops, James Gunn with full of ego, and a comic book by Tom King that nobody likes, how could this movie have ever worked? There's no scenario that the movie could have ever worked.
It was a bad call. Oh, and Matt Smith too in House of the Dragon. He was phenomenal in.
Oh yeah,
House of
sorry,
that
Matt
first.
Smith, and I
Well,
apologize.
no, also no. I mean, you're right. That was a
No,
great ensemble cast, and I
I
really
want to
Matt Smith
apologize. I
surprised me.
I want to apologize. I've always liked Matt Smith. I liked him as the Doctor. But as much as I liked him at the Doctor, he surprised me too. I think that in the first season, especially, he was fantastic on House
Yeah.
of the Dragon. I will say that season 2 of House of the Dragon has been a diminishing return for me. So much so that 3 started the other day, and I didn't even notice, because like I don't feel invested like I was in that first season. Something doesn't feel the same to me anymore.
2 was a big letdown. It was basically filler to get to season 3, and I haven't watched the new episode either. You basically could have watched the last 10 minutes of season 2 and then not watched anything else. I think in House of the Dragon, it was that much of a letdown from that high epic arc of the first one, because they're setting up the big fight in the end, and then they they cut it at the end. It's like, wait a minute, let's what are you guys doing with this season? But yeah, it's just a real miss, and I don't think James Gunn is gonna stay around too. It's always you've got to make money in Hollywood, right? So if these big properties for DC are not performing, Superman's not performing, and then you follow up with Supergirl and it doesn't do well. Then we're getting the Man of Tomorrow, right? And if that doesn't
Yep.
earn $1 billion,
We got Man of Tomorrow, and then we got the Brown Lanterns series coming later.
Yeah, we
this
got
year.
the Lantern, which looks like a buddy cop movie. Instead of putting Green Lantern out in space, which was one of the big mistakes of the Green Lantern movie, which was a disaster. Which was really cool when they went out for 5 minutes and you got to see Kilowog and the whole core. And that was for my birthday. I took everyone to go see that movie, and they still get mad at me, like, because my birthday's in June, and there's always the big movies open up. They're like, Mark, you're not going to take us to see another movie as bad as Green Lantern this year, are you? And I still get the rib. Like, you made us sit through the Green Lantern movie. I'm like, guys, come on. I'm not the director, the producer. It's not my fault. But yeah, there's a lot of hype for these movies. And watching the Green Lantern trailer, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And why is Hal Jordan an old dude? Why are they? Hal Jordan's the first, not the first, is as a Green Lantern of Earth is, he's a kick-ass character. He's not supposed to be like this old washed up old man in this series. So I just don't get what they're doing. It's like, give us the proper Hal Jordan and then introduce the other, Green Lanterns later, then you can bring John Stewart in. But oh God, just a mess of direction. And Peacemaker, people don't like that second season of Peacemaker. So yeah, it's
I
not,
didn't care for
it's
the
awful.
first season of Peacemaker.
yeah,
so-
I kind of liked, as an avant-garde, as an out there, segment of the universe.
As a standalone kind of like you said, out there thing that's quirky and weird, as a standalone that they didn't say tied the whole universe together, you kind of take it or leave it. I didn't hate that first season, but it's not like I sat around thinking about it all day either. It was
Yeah.
just some quirky thing doing its own thing. The second he took over and he's like, everything goes through Peacemaker, and then he made it all like agenda peddling, he drove it off a cliff, I think.
But the opening credits are awesome in both seasons of Peacemaker. I love those songs and that opening.
I could barely tolerate. I thought it was kind of weird the first season, but like the second one, I think already annoyed me. I feel like the song they chose for the first season was a little more kind of classic rock. The second one annoyed me. The song, I don't know.
Annoyed. I kind of grew on me, but I just love like James Gunn. That's his thing, right? That funny, crazy, take on the character. So that was humorous, but yeah, it shouldn't. When he came out and said, "Oh, everything's gonna go through this, and you have to watch Peacemaker season 2 to watch Superman," and it's like, oh, that's a bunch of BS. Come on. So yeah, it's. But you can have things like that exist in kind of like a niche, but you've got to be firing on all cylinders on your main properties, and it's not happening right now. So yeah, maybe Schneider will come back, right? We'll see. Oh God, start that debate again. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of his take, but it's I'm sure the Schneider fans are all clamoring, get rid of Gunn and bring back Schneider. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
whatever keeps him from making another
Star Wars movie. What were those movies called?
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon. Oh God.
The second one.
Rebel Moon, if nothing else, I always say this, he didn't hijack anybody else's property. And as a kind of like C or D level sci-fi movie, it has a guilty pleasure, silly thing about it. I'm not going to say it's good. I can't say that I really enjoyed watching it, but there were moments that I laughed out loud. And if a movie can at least make me laugh for whatever reason, and it didn't hijack anybody else's IP, I can be a little more forgiving. That's all I'll say.
Right?
My
buddy who kind of liked the first one I didn't watch the second one, and he watched the second one. He's like, I think this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I'm like, I'm like, worse than Zardoz. And I'm sorry, Shankar, I do like Zardoz actually now that I've watched, but worse than pick a reviled movie. He's like, oh my God, this was Rebel Moon. The second one was so terrible.
Oh yeah. As bad as the first one was, the second one was so much worse.
Probably, yeah.
I will never forget the orchestra playing in time with the assassination, even though their eyes were covered. Like, it's unbelievable.
I see that anti-derivative Jill.
Yeah, hey there, Jill.
Hey, Jill. Thank you. I don't know how much longer we're going to do something, but thank you for the raid, nevertheless.
What's the box office on this? What's our prediction for the weekend? What do we think?
I think they started at 55, then went to 50, then 45, then like 40. I think we're seeing something in 38 to 40. That's what I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Ouchies.
I think this is gonna be around a 40 because the word of mouth is already getting out. People do not want to see this. Saw this, today. Did not get to go to the fan event, but when I saw the fan event, there were only about 20 tickets sold for last night. Earlier or so on Thursday when I saw it, it was a matinee. But, there were 20, 25 people in the theater.
What was the fan event? Did they show Superman and then Supergirl?
No. It was just a Wednesday night preview showing.
Okay.
That's all.
Early,
and they had some special merch they were handing out. I think they had some comic books and
couple giveaways,
like trading
or
cards and or something like that they were giving out. Yeah,
if you went,
if you went to the fan early screening, yeah.
There was one young lady dressed up with Supergirl stuff, like a shirt and some things, but that was it at my theater, and it was maybe about half full on a Thursday night, which is, typically you're getting just the diehard fans to go out on Thursday. But thank God they've let these movies come out earlier, because back in the day you'd have to go at midnight, and then the poor workers at the movie theater, they're all were there, and you didn't even have assigned seats, so it was a big line. Everyone was fighting on the line to see who would get in the theater, and so now it's a lot. Now they screw it. Why don't we just release these? Now they're doing these Wednesday early special screenings, like you said, and then Thursday night it's just like a regular. But do they call it like a 4-day weekend, or what do they do on the box office mojo?
Everything that plays Wednesday and Thursday is considered previews. They don't actually consider it a full weekend until Friday. So the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3-day, that's the weekend. Everything before that is previews. I have not seen any numbers yet for previews for this movie, but I'm guessing they're not great. I would guess probably less than 12 million previews, probably closer to 10 for previews.
Pretty low, yeah.
Yeah, not good at all. Yeah, and this is not a movie that's getting a small release either. It's getting the standard little over 3,600 theaters. Yeah, it's not the full like 4,000, but it's getting like 3,600 theaters. So yeah.
But He-Man won't beat it this weekend though, right?
Oh no. No, it will not.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, poor He-Man, right? Yeah.
I think Toy Story will still beat it this weekend, though. Even
Toy
though
Story will be number one. Yeah.
This will be the last weekend, I think, for Toy Story really bringing in big money. But
Mortal Kombat 2. I finally watched Mortal Kombat 2. What a dud of a movie that was too. I mean, that was not a good effort. Yeah, we've had a lot of huge flops right now. I mean. It's
Disclosure Day only bringing in around 170 so far.
Yep.
Ooh, huge,
huge
bomb for a big studio production. Yeah. Still, hilariously, you still have Obsession like way up there at the top of the charts.
It's the number 8 movie of the year so far. Yeah, 340 million.
Still just doing incredible.
That's a story.
Business.
Look, you've got a good story, right? You don't need to have amazing special effects. You do have a kind of a super tie in there, because the lead on that was Lana Lang's daughter on the Superman TV show, and she was great on that show. She was you could tell she was. I'm like, oh, this girl, not that I predicted it, but I'm like, there's something special about this girl when you'd watch the show. I'm like, being incredibly good looking didn't hurt either, but she was a standout on that show, and I can see why she's a star. She's gonna be a star now, but you've got good writing, right? You don't need to have $1 million special effects, and good movie will shine through. So Mandalorian and Grogu is three. I'm looking at Box Office Mojo. 323. So Obsession beat Mandalorian and Grogu, and the top 5 movies. Super Mario, Michael, Project Hail Mary, Devil Wears Prada, Pegasus 3, which is an animated Asian film, Hoppers, Toy Story 5, Obsession, Mando, and Backrooms is number 10 at 300 million. So it's you've got 2 independent films cracking the top 10, or small films you'd never think would be that big. So you're going to see the horror genre is just going to take off. What previews did you guys see before this? There was
I didn't actually get to see any of them. I literally walked into the theater like a minute before they turned off the lights. So I didn't see any of the trailers.
Yeah, so there were a bunch of horror trailers, and I'm trying to remember the titles of the of the movies. But yeah, they're gonna go full on with the horror movie.
Yeah.
I think the horror genre now is gonna just because it's cheap to make and it's very popular. Yeah.
So, oh man, okay. So I was just looking at Box Office Theory and their updates for this weekend. Uh, the studio tracking is saying a 47 to 50 million domestic box office for Supergirl for the first weekend plus previews. Their tracking, Box Office Theory's domestic opening forecast is 34 to 43, and they're guessing it's going to be closer to the bottom number than the higher number. And then their total, let's see, what do they have?
Do you think it's going to do worse than Masters of the Universe? I think it might beat Masters of the Universe eventually, but not by much.
It might eventually, yeah.
Just because it's Supergirl.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have families taking their young kids, which is a big mistake with this movie. But that potentially could happen. But yeah, I think the word of mouth. That's why Obsession and Backrooms is doing so well because of the word of mouth, right? People, you got to go see this, right? So you're not going to have that happening with Supergirl.
No, but yeah, Supergirl, man, yeah. If you're looking at some of the numbers from some of these analysts, if you look at the expected leg out for some of these, Supergirl may be topping 125 domestically. Oh, unbelievable. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's not a good movie. It's in fact quite a bad movie. But man, that's gonna sting.
What did Superman do? Was Superman like 350 or almost 400?
Let's see. What was Superman domestically? I remember the final total was about 615 worldwide. 618 worldwide. Domestic was 354. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So not huge.
This will do even worse internationally, just being that it's a female superhero. Female superheroes do more or do less business, do worse in the theaters overall, but they do especially poorly internationally. And so, yeah, I would guess international box office for this probably doesn't top 100 million total by the end of its run. And so, yeah, if that means if the American run gets even 150, still that's only 250 on a 225 budget.
And the marketing for this
or 200 million
too,
budget,
right? I mean,
they've spent.
Do they ever disclose the marketing officially, or they just kind of give you like a?
Nah, they don't really ever disclose the actual marketing, but there's a lot of there's some people, analysts in there that can tell. But
yeah, because they have all these tie-ins too, with like fast food, and they had a KFC commercial, like
and sometimes those are like. There's like handshake deals where there's no real money that changes hands, right? It's almost like you get to promote our movie, we get the benefit from your promotion. Like you have to give us the 10% or whatever on the merch if you sell merch or something like that. But it's kind of a partnership kind of a thing where you go back and forth and everybody wins, nobody has to pay kind of a thing. Just we spend money on the movie, you spend money on some promotion, you get your benefits, I get mine. So, well, Price, are we ready to wrap it up for tonight?
Yeah. Do you have the names of the people?
Yep, there is the names for Rumble.
Okay, so for Rumble, Kivo 1961, Gaming Stuff, Istaphobos, Born to Be Down, Elizabeth Quince, Reach of 842, Angelo DD, Mark D with a C, Darren Mai, Dude Bro Seth 420, The Real Arthur Blake, Double R Star, S. Wilson 1973, Radio Streamer, Googie Designs, Entropy Nomad, and God Bless 5697. Thank you all for joining us today.
Yeah, and then Antiderivative Jill coming in a little bit later with her raid. We appreciate that.
Awesome as well.
Jill, yeah. And then over on YouTube, lots of friends joining us today. So I've got the top 50 from the chat here. We've got iLord Corey, The Real Headcase, Palm 5966, Piku, Jeremy, FR9PN, excuse me, Piggy in a Onesie, Core Setup, Marla Sherendorf, Bayona Red, Captain Zoom, CW Chang, Red Pilled Rants, Jonathan Conroy, Dutch Gradient, Malfeasance Q, Fat Joe, Sheriff Brackett, Quintong, CC Karaoke, Lasher, Fishbulb, Ron Donafero, Yitis, Adrian Veit, Emperor Goodwin, Jason Love Doctor Who, Sagacious Six, Angry Sparrow, Keely Chow, Phantom Outsider, Kit Kat, Putin, Super Sumerian, Caleb Levine, Darren M, Kuna Ritchie, Lucy Mao, Kira Runte, Mark D with a C, Tomahawk 511, Strugun, Gavin Unit, Georgia Cyrex, Big Sur River, RJ Godzilla 81, Kodo Rob, Istophobos, and Mary White. And we did get some lovely support this evening. We got a $5 Rumble Rant from Born to Be Down. And we got 10 gifted memberships from Mary White, as well as a $5 super chat from Mary White. So thank you. And then a $2 super chat from Istophobos. So thank you all for your support this evening.
Yes, thank you. It was fun hanging out. And today was Thursday, so we'll see you all on Tuesday. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the Night Owl at 11:45 p.m. Eastern. And always fun hanging out. Thank you to our co-host here, Professor R2. Great as always. And also to our VIP guest, Mark D with a C. Thanks for hanging out with us as well.
Thank you so much. This is much more fun than the movie. I really it was just, I felt so good coming on here tonight because I was just like, oh man.
And it didn't even feel as long as that movie felt as we sat through it.
Istophobos says currently tracking less than the Marvels. I
yes,
believe
it is.
This is going to be a huge flop. I agree with you.
It's going to underperform the Marvels. Yeah.
And
you got to go see it. You got to help Supergirl out,
right? If you want a Lobo movie, you got to go see it, right?
I will tell you, I guarantee you, next weekend, Minions and Monsters is going to spank Supergirl out of the top 5 easily.
You're probably right.
It's probably might even take over for Toy Story. It's actually getting some early, pretty good reviews. So we will have to see.
Yeah, this is probably not going to end up very well, this whole thing. But we anticipated this all, so it's basically doing exactly what we thought.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, Mark. And I dropped your YouTube and your Rumble channel in the proper places, and even your X account, Professor R2. So anybody that's listening, make sure you sub and follow and do all that stuff, because these are good guys that do a lot of cool things. In addition, if you're listening to this stream and you haven't subscribed to this specific channel yet, you should do it. And if you're on Rumble and you haven't signed up for Rumble, sign up for a free account, follow us. It's good to continue to be in constant communication so you can always learn about our streams. And with all of that being said, thank you all for being here. Thank you to the panelists, and good night, everybody.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Stay super.